now the defense onto this B-bomb side. Bogeyman with 3, 4 against a really good team as well. Look at that nade. Chris, they're just going to line up.
Making Skyfire really sort of sweat for it.
That's
Bit of a steamroll. As there we go. Oh, Netting, he's going to make so much cash this round. Oh, they have to go. They have to get out onto this A site now. BZ, great shot, holding it down. BZ. Chelios going for that aggressive play, and it pays off. This is, oh my word!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, CSGO fans, and welcome to the LPL Pro CSGO Season 3, brought to you by our friends at Conquer. My name is Jonathan Arcadian Jansen, and I will be your host tonight. And just before we get into it, another huge thank you to all of our sponsors who make this possible. It's Conquer, Vodafone New Zealand, Sky City, Extrafy, WD Black, and of course our new friends Red Bull as well. Now, before we get into the action, there might be some of you who are just joining us for the first time, and if you are, let me give you a quick reminder on what this tournament is all about, why we are here tonight. We have collected 60 of the CSGO pros from around Oceanic and who have made up 12 powerhouse teams, and they are competing in a double elimination bracket to bring you as much action as possible as we head towards the finals of Season 3 of the LPL Pro CSGO. These players are competing for some amazing prizes along the way. Third and fourth place will walk away with 1,000 Australian dollars. Second place coming away with 1,500 Australian dollars. And our first place, not only do they get the accolade of being the LPL Pro Season 3 champions, but they'll be walking away with 6,500 Australian dollars. But that's not the only way that our players can make some money. Thanks to our friends at Vodafone, we also have the MVP Awards, where the MVP of the entire season will win themselves a cool $250. And if that wasn't enough, you, the viewers, also have the opportunity to influence how some of our players win some of that sweet cash. Thanks to our friends at Red Bull, we introduced the Red Bull Fan Vote, where you, the viewers, have the power to vote for any player you want, and they are in to win $500 cash, a year's supply of Red Bull, and one of these sweet Red Bull fridges behind me as well. But they're not the only ones who win in this case. If you vote, you could also be in the draw to win a year's supply of Red Bull. That'll go out to 4 players and 4 of you voters. And so make sure you use the command in the chat to make sure that you're able to enter. But without further ado, let me introduce the boys who you're probably all here to see, the Golden Boys, the ones who will commentate you through all the action, Conky and Komodo. How's it going, lads?
Yo, what's up, Ark? How you doing?
It's good. Always good, man. Always good.
I feel like you guys are looking pretty tropical today.
I had to copy what he was doing. It's sort of been the thing lately. I don't know. They even changed the headset color. It's working. We're getting it done.
I like the feel. I like the feel. Well, look, before we jump into the game, I just want to ask you a quick question. All right? Have you yourselves, you watch these pro games all the time, have you yourselves ever wondered how you might stack up cognitively against these other pro players, Conky?
Jesus, I always had that thought that if I was good, I wouldn't be a caster. I'd be the player. But yeah, look, maybe.
Well, fair enough. Well, look, our mates at the Esports Assessment Lab have put together developed, proven cognitive tests, so you can go out there and test your skills against the pros and see how you actually stack up, your strengths, your weaknesses. I gave it a shot during the weekend, and I was embarrassed to be as bad as I probably was. But I recommend that everyone goes and checks it out. There's instructions just below how you can yourself, the viewers, can go to that website, add in the code LPL Gaming, and you can check out how to do the Esports Lab assessments and how you stack up against the pros themselves when it comes to your brain power. But without further ado, let's get into the action. Last week we saw some fantastic games go down. Take us through the action.
Oh man, this was an exciting one though, right? You know, at the end of the day, it was the Chiefs that really did give a good run. Paradox certainly gave him a bit of a run for their money, but I guess at the end of the day, you know, they're still that pretty close duel battle between the two teams of where they sort of stand on the leaderboard. And, you know, for the time being, obviously Chiefs does manage to maintain that spot, but that Dion, Vertex, and Integra Nations, that one was a bit more spicy.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about that one. Of course, a lot of people were expecting a close match between these guys, and I guess we weren't disappointed in the end, even though it was a 2-0 over towards Vertex. You got some shining lights. Of course, this here, JCG's 1 versus 3 with the Deagle. Can't be given solo opportunities to these young, sharp gamers because they definitely will capitalize. But of course, with those being elimination matches, we did say farewell to 2 of those teams, likewise for tonight.
And as you can see here, a little bit of a precursor into what we're going to see moving into the grand finals. We've got our first semi-final locked in on the top bracket there with Chiefs versus Rooster in the upper bracket. And tonight, we're going to venture down to the lower bracket and see who fills up the second. And we've got Paradox and VERTEX coming in, and Avant versus Ground Zero. That's 2 invitational teams in one game.
Yeah, man, it's going to be really exciting across the board. We've got so much to offer in, it's the last week, basically, or the second last week before we got the finals, obviously next week. But these games that we've got coming up, it's got so much, I guess, backstory and build up to it all. As you mentioned, 2 of our invited teams, 1 more is going to be going home. It's a relatively new Avant roster that's coming in. Ground Zero, they've been really trying to rebuild themselves. Whereas then it comes to VERTEX and Paradox. Paradox has got a new roster also, keep that in mind. But also VERTEX, they actually just beat them last night, I think it was, or the night before. So there's just so many different things that are happening, and it makes it really exciting for what we're going to have coming up.
Well, I'm excited that that's our first match tonight, Avant versus Ground Zero, and then later on we will see those other 2 teams battle it out. But let's take a look at the team breakdown, walk us through who we're going to be looking at. This is Ground Zero.
Well, of course, you got your stable boys that we've come to know and love around the regions in a helping hand of rosters over the past. But Burn, Llamas, Noobster, Maker, Lays, everybody should be really familiar with this roster for the LPL season. But, we've seen a little bit of a shake-up in the season already for this crew, in getting dropped down 0-2 against Paradox. So they are running the gauntlet and now going up against Avant. We're going to have to see how it fares out.
We will, and let's take a look now at Avant to see who we've got in the roster. Any shakeups here, Conky?
Yeah. So you'll notice Versa, a familiar face from the roster of Paradox. So I don't know exactly how official everything is now, but there's been a little bit of a trade, a handshake deal. Humongous has swapped out for Ofnu, very, very familiar. Over the years, Apoc and Ofnu have spent a lot of time on rosters together, so bit of a comfort zone maybe, but look, Ofnu was putting up some great results recently under the Chiefs, so hoping he sits well into the Avant roster as well. But Versa, my eyes are going to be on him, man. Lots of pressure. He's come up very, very quickly. Me and Dion were talking about this today. He's come up from, almost out of nowhere to now being into one of what could be considered a top 4 roster.
Well, with those being the teams, let's take a look at what the head-to-head is going to be. Are we going to see Versa? I don't think so. We've got Ground Zero with Noobster and Avant with Sterling as the head-to-head. What do we think about that?
Oh, well, it's going to be the battle of the AWPers coming into it. It'll be interesting when we do see the veto, what maps we are going to play. If we're going to dip into a bit of that illustrious pool. We've come to know Nuke a lot in our region so far. So if it does come to that, I'll be really interested to see what these teams, what these players specifically will be able to come through. But really going to be relying on these AWPers to just be, I think consistent is going to be the high word in this matchup, because we know the capability of both of these rosters, and we know that these AWP players are going to look to swing things in their favor.
Absolutely agree. I think when we're a high-stakes match, it's not only elimination, it's getting near the end of the tournament, the business end of the tournament. It is going to be key to be able to stay cool under pressure, keep that consistency. We did hear, though, today from Ground Zero, a little bit of getting inside the players' minds, and so let's take a look at what they've got to say about tonight's match.
So last week's match against Downfall went well for us because we were practicing basic CS and we're able to rely back on that against them during the match. It felt like it was coming together in that match. I think everyone's pretty excited because we've been playing officials for the past whole week, and basically we're just still grinding it out and hoping to prove ourselves. We're pretty confident. It's going to be hard for sure. They got really good players. Obviously they've made a roster change, but even then they're still really good players in the team. Basically it's we just have to use our utility well to cancel out any potential pick as well as enforce trades. Yeah, we're pretty keen and confident going into that. I think pretty much trying to play to our comfort, the same CS we've been playing for the past week. We're just going to try to replicate that in this match.
Keen and confident is the words from our friends at Ground Zero. Komodo, what do we think of that?
I think it's something that you definitely need. They got to play their game that they've mentioned that they've played in the last week. So, tipping into it, they've had some good streaks. So if they can follow on with that, and as Maker pointed out, use their utility well, they know that Avant are going to have some sharp players. So everybody can stack up mechanically in this game. It will come down to a little bit of that extra, synergized play in the mid rounds, and also when it comes down to the tactical endeavors that they'll look to play for in the matchup.
Fantastic. Well, let's look at the map vetoes and let's take a look at where we are with our players. Where, as you can see here, Ground Zero Dust 2, Avant with Mirage, and then Inferno as the decider. Conky, run us through the maps.
It's like they've just queued Face It or something and just queued like the easiest pug maps ever. But anyway, look, you know, Dust 2, I find it has a lot more versatility these days. There's definitely a lot of strategy that can be thrown. It's going to be really important to see how the B side players, which I think is like Maker and Burn on the rotate that sits down and lock down that B position. So that'll be really interesting on the defending side for Ground Zero. Avant, Mirage, you know, obviously Sterling, it's his playground on the AWP. Noobster does keep him in check though. So we'll, you know, see how this fares, but it's a very, very interesting, like straightforward veto tonight.
Well, we will get straight into the game as we do the flyover over Dust 2. The Battle of the AWPers in the head-to-head. Boys, take it away.
Straight into Dust 2, the big boy Dion. What do you reckon, mate? It's an interesting veto, a pool of usual, but look, guys, it is week number 5, night number 1 of the El Clasico, the Let's Play Live Season 3, 2020. We are moving into the real exciting territory now, and I am stoked. And yeah, Dion, look, what do you think about Dust 2? What are we going to see in this opening round?
I can't even call which way that this match is going to swing out tonight, honestly, with how Ground Zero have performed over this last week. And if Offnu and Versa, of course, can slip back into this roster, of course, Offnu there, he's played with APOC time and time again, you know, 5 back and forths in rosters or something. But I think my mind is definitely going to be over towards Versa. I want to see how he's going to be playing out in this game. And at least for now, Haz is going to have to be sitting in the back lanes. Versa's going to get taken down. One back from Offnu up towards A. But yeah, you talk about Dust 2, Conky. Is there any new strategies that can come out on this map? Not really.
Look, the game's been out, what, 20 years, and I think this map has basically been almost in the active pool the entire time. So anyway, it's cool to see that Layers and Burn did push up short, nice and aggro and early to get the info, because look at this control from Maker as well. He's taken it into his own hands to actually go through tunnels and almost sort of pincer the remaining members of Avant. I mean, it's still going to be hard. They still don't need to overextend or anything along those lines, and Maker's playing it wise. You know, now they're heading up elbow, but this is where it starts to get scary. Sterling has taken one, so's Offnu. Luckily, Noobster able to at least hold on, and that's a great shot as well. Now has the information as to where Sterling is. Maker should be able to tap away and find him, and eventually the shots will be found. So Ground Zero, they've almost played that a little bit scared. It was like watching like a cat like slowly stalk up against someone and eventually pounce, but by then it's already kind of gone. But anyway, regardless, Noobster kept his cool, held down the position on the site, and no bomb plant for Avant is definitely going to mean a force into this round.
Yeah, I was waiting and seeing what Offnu was going to do purchasing into this round, because on that force, you know, Offnu gets 2 kills. He gets a little bit of extra money. Could have gone in for, I guess, a better weapon than a Deagle into this, maybe up into a submachine gun or likewise a Galil, if possible. But for now, it's going to be the Scout and these Deagles. Sterling's already taken down to 18 HP. Now just going to have to wait and witness what is going to happen in the remainder of this round. But we talk about, you know, the future side of this game, right? It's T side, it's Dust 2, Avant. They're going to look to chase 6+ rounds.
It's going to be a big challenge. Always sort of, you know, thinking about how these games are going to go. It's always on the back of my mind during the course of the working week, and the excitement of building up about what we're going to sort of see during that course. And this one was an interesting one to think about, you know, right? We've obviously got Versa slotting into the fold for Avant. It's a very, very big step for him. And speaking of that, he does actually make a couple of shots work now. 2 quickly found, and that's obviously not going to be too much of a problem. Actually, I'm a liar. It's a massive problem, because now all of a sudden it's only onto Maker, and this is what we talk about, right? You know, Lays and well, the rest of Ground Zero, they've sort of had this issue of potentially overstepping, but then also at the same time understepping, right? You know, they look for this additional control. They try to really sort of test their mettle, I guess, but half the time it just looks like they're sort of regularly guessing themselves and not really having that full confidence that they need. But now Maker, I guess the key factor is here that he is holding onto that AUG. One spotted out now. Offnu goes down. Sterling on the position, but he's legged up, and Maker keeps his composure, cool, calm, and collected, as he was speaking about in that interview, Dion. And there's a second round, but Ground Zero, they've lost a lot.
Yeah, I was really interested to see if Sterling was going to be rewarded for putting that smoke down through short and then holding on the back of it. If Maker went through short, I mean, it could have really gone Avant's way. But in taking that AUG into a bit of a strong lane out long in a 1 versus 2, you could kind of look to just split all the angles going out through the site. And in the end, you know, he catches a little glimpse of, I think it was Offnu there playing a Goose, takes his head off, and then a really easy 1 versus 1 you look at there onto Sterling, who was already tagged up. So the purchase is going to be denied off of Avant then, and we're going to see some counter aggression coming through from ground zero now on a bit of a bonus round. The MP9 for Burn could find two if Offnu's not looking the right way, tapping on through. Burn missing a couple of crucial shots that he will have his head ripped off because of it, and Llama's also putting in towards Tons as information for Avant. Now they know that there's still two players over towards that B site, but you can see that Avant, they're not kind of shuffling. They're not taking that info aggress out through long or anything, because it is just these pistols. They want to look for a little bit of damage against ground zero.
Damage is all they really can sort of hope for, and I guess that's one thing that Avant are really, really good at doing. We saw it in the previous round, you know, while they were able to just sort of overwhelm a couple of the members of Ground Zero, breaking their defenses a little bit more, because this is a super, super important round for Ground Zero. Make sure they live on as much as possible. Laser's going to do well there to find Versa. Now Sterling looking to get that smoke grenade down towards CT. Apoc's not too far behind him, but the cool thing that I think we'll see actually from Avant, though, in this matchup very much so, is like there will probably be a lot of loosey-goosey sort of style play, you know. Offnu obviously has been able to slot back in relatively well, given the fact that he has already been in this roster in the past, but and also has a lengthy history with a lot of the players. But for Versa, you know, it's actually a massive opportunity for the young guy, because it's always like one of those things, right? You know, potentially if you think about having him in the Paradox roster, like, you know, he did well, but he certainly wasn't like the most crazy wild pickup forever. But, you know, now under the Avant banner, it actually might be more of an opportunity for him to shine.
Yeah, I think if you stack up Avant versus Paradox, there's a lot more players with lengthier experience on Avant. Of course, you got Ecal from Paradox, who's been around for a very long time, as well as, you know, Herbs, I guess. You think about things completely. But a lot of these players on Avant have been around for quite a while, so I think that they're going to be able to nurture Versa, because, you know, he's still quite young, 17. He's got a lot to grow with in the game, and he's got almost like he's been brought up in Counter-Strike, right? So it's really a great opportunity for him now, as you say, and it is only the first game that they're going to be playing together right here. So hopefully, you know, they stick it out and they really give a good sort of parenting type role around him.
Always, speaking of parenting as well, Giles and Taylor in the chat. Lovely, lovely humans. Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Deb there earlier as well.
Oh, mate. There's just some bloody beautiful people in our scene, isn't there? Love to see it.
100%.
Anyway, 4 versus 4 as it stands. It will be Burn to actually find one more on the defense there. He's in a little bit of an awkward situation. Offnu does catch off Maker, but luckily Llamas is there for the trade. So now it's all on to Sterling and Versa in this 2 versus 2. So obviously Burn in this difficult situation, at least they will be able to get the wall of smokes up. But Noobster, a very well found shot through the smoke. And while Sterling is able to find one, Burn might be able to get the right amount of timing on the swing. And it looks like he just will, but he's given him a bit too much time. Almost allows him to plant the bomb, but luckily enough, there is Ground Zero. They secure the 4th round, and this is actually looking like a pretty good start for the Green Boys.
Yeah, we haven't really seen any impact from Hazard just yet on the scoreboard specifically. You know, 0-0-4. Hopefully, when we do have another big purchase to come through from Avant, we can see some sort of actual setup come out from them, not you know, your standard run out long with a whole bunch of flashes, which is looking like what might happen right now. Of course, on the flip side, GZ already defined the 4-0 with no real big impact from Avant on the backside of that. Is quite stable that they can flow with it. They've already realized the first pick into Versa in this round, and all of that utility that Avant have thrown out is pretty much gone. You've got a single flashbang that often is going to put over towards the cross right now, and they're going to try and get this bomb plant down. Apox on that Mac 10 to nearly get some extra little damage coming on through, but GZ are going to be ripe and ready on this setup. Sterling anticipating a bit of a peek through the smoke potentially from Llamas, but the bomb to go down now, and it's going to be 4 versus 4 in the retake.
Losing one. Slowly, Llama's just sort of waiting for that one. Obviously, having the bomb planted is always another good opportunity found for Avant, but Burn, he's able to find a couple here. Llamas is looking the wrong way in the end on to Apoc, and now it makes it a little bit difficult. There is a couple of wild bullets going off, but Burn, he is having a round right now. A couple of big frags found, and look, Apoc in this 1 versus 3 doesn't really have a whole lot to work with. Burn going to spray through the smoke, will pick up his 4K, and you love to see it. 5-0 is the scoreline as it stands. And yeah, Ground Zero, you know, they've started off really, really nicely. I do believe it's still going to be a challenge for them to continue to force away Avant, especially when they do have a bit of momentum behind them. But regardless, very nice start. And overall, obviously getting well and truly ahead of myself. But could you imagine to be able to say this tonight? Avant got knocked out by ground zero. I don't know, man. Like, it's happened once before, but in recent times, it just sort of felt unreasonable to even think about that.
Yeah, now you look at it from the beginning of the bracketing system for this LPL season, you would probably put up, you know, your Avant, your Chiefs, and your Rooster, I guess, to make it all the way and go in towards that grand final. So if we do see Avant get knocked out by ground zero, look, it can always happen. It is best of threes. GZ, another invited team. But on paper, I guess in recent history, I guess you wouldn't really expect it. So for GZ, they do have a lot to play for right now. It is their map pick as well, coming into Dust. Remember, Avant have actually picked into Mirage. So actually just wondering on the back of that, Avant starting on T side of GZ's map pick here. Actually now just like actually think about it.
Yeah,
right.
well, look, I guess it's they get the choice, right? They get the choice. Yeah. So they've obviously gone on and, you know, it was like, look, let's just sort of run it and gun it for a little while and see how that potentially fares off. And I suppose the scary thing is, like, look how much closer round and round after these guys have actually managed to get to the site. Very well done from Burn to be able to find the Kukli shot. But yeah, like round after round, you know, ground zero, they've sort of been easing the pressure, I guess, on this A site and very much allowing ground zero to like force himself back up short and give the side away and not really trying to contest long at all. But as you said, there's Hazza. It's all on the Llamas inside this 1 versus 4. He is up into short, but Hazza's happy to pick up a very nice sort of 3K there. So eventually, Avant, you know, the first round, they get to the site, don't get the plant. Second round, they get to the site and the plant on an eco. Third round, they've got guns. Long, apparently free real estate, and they get to the site, get the plant and the round.
And also look at GZ's economy right now. All of the impact that Avant's had round after round, getting a couple of picks here and there. GZ's CT money is pretty much just in the bin. There's a little bit to work with that they could have gone for some upgraded pistols, which they have, one of the Deagles, but nothing to back it up. They're just looking for what damage they can do against Avant to make them repurchase into the next round. So this one really should just be a free real estate round for AV, not to drop anything. As I say that, they won't. All 5 will survive. But now we get into the nitty-gritty. Avant have had a couple of rounds to try and figure out what ground zero have been poised on their CT side, and also I guess where Ofnu and Versa could slot in on this T side roster. They'll always have their positions that they'll play in, you know, you're either entry or support or your AWP or your IGL, etc, but they would have only played a little bit of scrims right now, only practice. They don't have an official under their belt. So this is really where it's the waters being tested for those 2 new players. And well, a beautiful pick to start off for Avant in this 8th round as well.
Moving on into the fire, though, but that's exactly right. You know, Sterling, there's been no real contest in the position that they've been looking for. There's a trade finally, but at what cost? Hazza's able to find it back, and all of a sudden, you know, he does have the AWP in hand, Hazza, so he's gonna start making his way up long. Maker does have one of his own as well, but Hazza yet to spot anything out. Maybe just the timing does actually find the shot. I think that was a leg back and onto each other, but regardless, Maker still holding that line. Llamas if he gets caught off guard in mid, but it could be a matter of the timing. There's Hazza spotted out again. Been a bit of a menace though. Maker's able to find the shot, but in the end, the bomb does get planted on that A site, and being stuck inside that CT position, especially with an AWP, is extremely volatile, and they're going to just collapse from either side, find the frag, and here is that momentum that we were talking about though, right? You know, Avant, they continue on. They've got 3 back-to-back. And they've all stacked up their economy very nicely as well. So everyone above 5K except Hazza, but that's okay. And ground zero, they're finally on an eco. I mean, they did well to have 3 contested rounds without needing to eco, but the main thing for ground zero is they need to identify and adapt, right? What's happening? They're losing long every single time. Try and switch that up.
Yeah, well, they've switched it up definitely in this round. They've opted for the 4 stacking to B, and APOC is going to spot out a little bit of information, realize that it is only these USPs, but he could be walking into a crossfire that he isn't anticipating right now. And by the looks of it, you know, it could be 2 kills from these pistols if they get overwhelmed. And Llamas is just going to rip the head off of both of them. Sterling, I think that must have been a double dink, but look at what cost that has been brought towards Avant right now. They've lost an AK, they've lost an AWP, and they're at a disadvantage in player numbers. So Hazard's going to work out through towards mid, find them, but another trade to come through after 1. GZ putting in an absolute phenomenal job on this this eco round, and it's just that, Conky. It's an eco round. Their money, they know they'll have a buy in the next round, but any weapon they can take right now is just to add insult to injury, and they could even shape up for the round.
Oh, they've got the trade. Okay, I was going to say the way they were moving in towards the position there did put a lot of pressure, I suppose, on each of those members to find the frags. But Llamas, he's already on with 3 here. Noobs has obviously got his weapon of choice. But the big play from Versa here is the fact that he's actually dropped to the CT. They're going to be looking for the site. There's one. He's actually lined up. And Versa, the new blood, he's locked this one out in a 1 versus 2 clutch. Might be able to recover the AWP. He does. And that is exactly what you want to see for a player that jumps in and, still able to work with all the weight on your shoulders. So Ground Zero, look, can't take anything away from them there. It certainly should have been a round that they, potentially won. I think they did well to at least trade where necessary, but Versa kind of outtrained them in the end, and that was super well done. But you can't be upset if you're Ground Zero. You've taken down everyone but one. At least you've been able to make a scratch on the economic surface. Yeah. Now looking to jump up short. Noobs are, though, very aggressive. Will he find the shot onto APOC, or the timing might not fare him? Great flick back. Now knows where Hazard is. Will he be able to slot it back up? There we go, Noobster. Beautiful defense up short. No contestation back, and that's a 5-on-3, 30 seconds into the round.
I'm a little bit surprised, I guess, that Avant aren't using utility to regain control of short there against the AWP and Noobster. And again, an attempted flash out through mid here, and they lose another player on the board. So this retaliation round from GZ is off kicking very nicely. They're almost just kicking goals every time they get that ball. And we were looking at a potential tied scoreline after this one if Avant were able to find it, but it's looking like GZ have changed things up, like you were hoping to see, Conky. Eventually, Sterling will get the trade and eliminate Noobs for a second one onto Lays as well. Could this be reminiscent of the huge Sterling play yet again? Is he going to just find the massive opportunity for Avant back into it? Hey, I don't know. Definitely possible, but overlooking short might cost him right now. The big thing that I wanted to say, though, was in Versa in that 1 versus 2, he's comfortable in the fact that he's played against players of this caliber time and time again under the Paradox roster, right? So he shouldn't have been nervous, I guess, if you look at it going into that 1 versus 2.
Yeah, no, exactly. But look, Sterling, he's actually started to play this very, very well now. And I mean, I like the fact that Ground Zero are waiting a little bit longer. They're going to go for that 2-on-1 situation. And obviously they're waiting for whoever was in CT, I think that was Llamas, to sort of make up as much ground as possible as well. But in the end, they all strike as a unit, and that's something that we haven't really managed to see from Ground Zero lately, right? They sort of move in a bit one by one, a little bit wishy-washy, but that round was perfect. They played the time, they waited for the opportunity, and they struck. They knew that Sterling was because in a 1v3, you have to try and find those 1v runs, right? Sterling can't just wait. He sort of started to look for that short peak, and by obviously the Ground Zero side not overextending and overstaying their welcome up short, they held back, they waited for Sterling to sort of make a misstep, and ultimately that's when they were able to rush over and take the site back. So very well done from Ground Zero. They found 6, but obviously it is still anyone's game right now. The money's still good in the situation of Avant. Noobs is headed back up short. They should start to be a little bit more aware of this now as the flashbang does come up.
You look at it too, we might be on for 6 maps in tonight's best of 3s as well, just by the teams and by the one this is going right now. We're very keen to announce the new roster change, of course, later on for the other team. As you do know, if you're familiar with Paradox, of course, Versa here now. Who is that extra member on Paradox?
Where's he come from? Yep.
Exactly. But for right now, there's a double AWP setup on GZ's side. We haven't seen it just yet, but neither have Avant. They haven't revealed it, so I'll be very keen to see what's going to happen. Of course, Maker loses his life. Burner's going to catch APOC looking into a wall, but there's kills being contributed towards that Avant side. They've claimed the bomb side in B, and it might just be on a GZ to save this off in this M4. They'd probably want to hunt for that second one, see if they can keep it into the next one as well, but I doubt Avant are going to let that happen. It's going to be the 5th round for them.
It's crazy how quickly these rounds sort of, start to turn, right? It's just Avant and their capacity to be able to find those sites as a unit, take the trades, and ultimately move as they need. So that's a very well met 5th. Ultimately, the money situation for Ground Zero not looking very good, which is where it could potentially sort of start to string towards Avant's 6th. But maybe off the back of the fact that we do have the save in from Lays and Noobster, if they're able to hold on to that weaponry. But it's going to be tough because there is at least one member heading down. It's going to be Sterling looking for the peak. Offnu there as well. And Noobster knows now he doesn't need to recontest. He just needs to get the flashbang up, play as much time as possible. The old Red Bull location.
Holding a HE grenade or a Molotov maybe to try and push Noobster out of the pit. It looked like he just switched over to something. I didn't quite catch it, but he will lose his life. Of course, the end of Red Bull location.
Yeah. I was actually just about to say, dude, man, during the course of this season, right? Like, obviously, you know, we're only just the humble broadcasters, right? You know, we're not actually involved in any of the behind-the-scene work. But how this mob at LPL has managed to pull on WD Black, Conquer, Extra Fight, Red Bull, Vodafone, and now EAL is pretty goddamn incredible. So, massive props to the team and obviously these beautiful companies that allow us to do our jobs. Pay me money to drink Red Bull and broadcast. I'm happy with that.
Of course, everybody that goes into production as well wouldn't be able to do such a significant work and make our lives easier. So always a big shout outs to them. A lot of people don't usually think of the production team, of course, but they make everything so much better for you guys. You have no idea.
It's like if you've ever tried to cast by yourself and then you get a production team, it's just like, mwah, delicious. Speaking of delicious, though, Noobster trying to make something of it. Maker is able to drop one. This is a much better defense towards B. Avant. They've tried to play the trump card. It did pay off for them earlier, but now APOC getting through this smoke. Where's the position going to happen? Because Burn, or the boost, it's coming through, and APOC striking at the opportune time. And now, oh my God, Lamas, he's gone for the leap and strike. This is absolute madman. What is going on right now?
Yeah.
He has to aggress. He has to face in, but is he going to be ready for it? I think APOC might have just done it potentially. Lamas has gone for a good position, though. Yeah, exactly. There's only two different spots that Lamas could have gone right now. He either pushed the tunnels or went back towards the site. APOC, though, nah, super aware. Look at this. Super aware, and APOC ready for it. Big brain. That's what happens when you play the game for like 36 years, right?
Yeah, the 4K, but I think if you look at it and you sum things up, what's bigger in that round? The spray of two players waiting for that boost in spawn or the pre-fire on that angle? I think it's got to be the boost. Yeah. I think it's got to be the expectation, knowing that that boost is going to come through, and the realization that I got to go for the top player before the bottom player. It works out regardless, and now we're at a tied scoreline and an eco to come through from GZ, but it's a better round than an eco. It's a bit of a half-buy. Burn has his head ripped off, but we have seen rounds like this where GZ put in some nice impact.
No, for sure. But again, you know, Avant, they're just such a good team at adapting, right? They're able to work out exactly sort of what these teams and players do, because Lay's like going up, you know, running up short to try and find a deagle in that situation. I mean, look, it's only an eco, no big deal, right? Noobs has been able to recover an AK, which he might be able to do something with, but Sterling definitely knows the position. He actually misses the shot. Very out of character, but he will make sure the job is done. The deed is sealed, and that's Avant taking back the lead. So ground zero, reminder, they're off to a 5-0 lead. So it's something that we quite often see. I still remember there was one game that like was so vivid to me, which was Vizard when it was back like Ty and Kyson and all those guys, right? It was Mirage and it was against Greyhound at the time. And I remember, no, it was Legacy, because this is when I was in Legacy. That's right. Vizard got 5 rounds very, very quickly on because they managed to sort of catch off guard and really surprise Legacy at the time. But then the second Legacy goes, like, I think it was Lons at the time, he goes, okay, this is their couple of strats, and then they won 16-5. You know, when you're a team that is that much more experienced and work out the strat book, it is just so much easier to adapt and deny anything. So look, Avant, you know, they're managing to slowly isolate these picks. He's already found it. Look, he's even... What? Are you joking? What?
The character model sticking out.
It must be.
The bounding boxes don't work.
He peeks again. In the end, which what is are you doing, Maker?
Volvo, please fix. You talk about the strats and everything. It actually brings me back to the whole what Gomes tweeted today, and you know, Dexter's chiming in and everything about what their strats are named. It's quite funny to see what people do name their strats, if they're actual executes or if they're just willy-nilly funny names. Because you always remember the funny names ones, and you mentioned White Girl Wasted's play when she was on Greyhound as well. I think that's really cool. But we set it up. We got 40 seconds here. Sterling has found Burn, and just diminishing the chances you would expect of Ground Zero to win this round.
Look, just a reminder to everyone at home, White Girl Wasted beat Order on LAN in a grand final for a national event to qualify for an overseas event. Just let that sink in.
And the stacked Order team as well.
Yep, a good Order team, like good Order in form as well. Just, you know, a credit to how good Greyhound, now Renegades, is at the time, the way they were able to adapt and play around. It was basically just, from memory, it was Dexter just basically being like, I need you to do this. And she did it. And I still remember that 1v2 clutch on Mirage. Me and Pilly lost our minds. It was great. But now, look, you know, it's always cool. I remember those iconic moments, and all it's really done is just make me sad that we've got no LAN. But it's okay, because it will eventually come back. Speaking of that New Zealand travel bubble, g'day. Hopefully it starts to happen shortly, but there's one more pick found by Offnood. Llamas does go down, meaning only Noobster will live on here unless... Nope, never mind. Offnood didn't check. All is well. But yeah, look, Offnood's leading the charge pretty well. You know, he's next to Sterling, 14-11, but everyone in Avant's actually doing pretty well right now. Avant, obviously, they've won out the half here, 8-6. Ground Zero basically need this one. You know, I feel like I've jinxed them now by saying, like, this is a possibility of them winning. But anyway, there still is, right? They've done it before.
Yeah. You draw it back to when they said a 6-9 half, Avant would look for 6, and they definitely have done that. Maybe it was the jinx in the reversal, but you know, in picking into the T. Eco, hello. You look at the T side. I think this is why Avant have picked into the T side potentially, because they would look to be more explosive. And what is that? 3-man boost? Oh, that's unfortunate, Maker.
Apparently I'm getting Discord notifications. That's very strange.
I didn't want to mention anything, but you can.
Is that me?
we can hear them coming back through.
Okay, all right. For everyone watching at home, anyone that has Discord notifications on is basically Satan. So I don't know when that has changed, but
it's probably one of the
servers. It is now off. So I apologize for that. Jesus Christ. Okay, sorry, chat. You're not going crazy. It's just me. It was like production in my ear or something, but Noobster, he's found 2 quick ones on the trade back. Now it's a 3 versus 3. Slowly moving along, the Molotov will go out, and it's just going to be really, really tough here to try and lock this one down. A good flash, and there's Offnood to strike on delays. That's an opportunity where they're going to be able to recover the bomb, and Llamas, he swung wide, and he's at least got the opportunity to find something, but now Noobster, he's made the wrong gamble. Oh, actually, no, maybe not.
It
depends on if Offnood's not going to be ready for him. Or will he? No, he's going to be ready. There you go. Nice little swing in. Offnood with 3, and a beautiful round for Avant.
Yeah, it's a lead 9-6 at the half in your opponent's map pick on the T side of all things. Dude, it's just happened again.
It's not me. It's not me.
You sure?
I'm turning it off.
Maybe.
I'm gonna.
Hang on. Maybe it's Toby. I'm just thinking now.
It's not me.
It might be. We can
Toby,
maybe fix
have
it
a look?
later.
Hey, wait. I'm going to type something. Hi, Toby.
We can wait till the map finishes, and then we can adjust it. Apologies for
we'll talk about that.
Who does hear the Discord pings coming through, but just know that with all the pings, someone is very popular, and it ain't me. So sad face.
Yeah, it's not me either.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to close it just in case. Yeah.
We got a pistol round, and it's a 2-man on the side of GZ. Avant starting to rip up some heads. Remember, GZ did open up with 5 rounds in the beginning off the back of their pistol on the CT side. So if Avant can do that, that's 14 on the board, and then any shakeups, any mistakes from GZ could spell the map. So we will wait for 1 more minute to see if GZ can pull something back, because you know how passive Avant are playing right now, and GZ, they're just trying to go for these peaks. Laze gets his head taken off too. It's just down to Maker with the Glock, and whilst he does make a good kill onto Hansa, he does get put 6 feet under by Apox. So that's double digits for Avant on the back of the pistol round, and now you're starting to maybe think, all right, GZ, you had a really good start to your CT. Are you going to be able to bounce back on your T side now and show us why you picked into Dust 2 against Avant here?
Yeah, always pressure, big pressure on. And I think we might be okay. So now time to rotate along. And also, just to confirm, by the way, guys, it was a rogue member who was logged into their Discord on the Observer PC. Someone's getting a slap. And then a kiss, maybe, because it looks kind of funny. But that's okay. 4 Deegs, a scout for Noobster, of course, the old classic. And they're just going to wait outside long, see if there's going to be any aggression. And that's one of the main things, though, right? Avant isn't quite a roster that, holds W through bedroom early or anything like that. It's definitely not something that they do try to force a lot. It's kind of they're just happy to play those rotating positions because they're confident in their gun skill, right? They don't need to try catch anyone off guard a lot of the time. So, they're pretty happy to just sort of play down their positions. They've got control of long. Sterling's watching up short. We'll get the information. And he narrowly misses the head of Noobster as well. But that's going to be some members starting to head up. Lays, he's going to be dunked in. But Noobster's already found a very nice shot. Does spot out Sterling. Does narrowly miss the shot, though, as well. Now he's up close. Sterling's had the damage dealt to the Noobster, though, as well. And that's the bomb out in no man's land, as you do mention. Hazard's been able to find another, but now they need to rely on these deagle shots. There's Llamas. You know how good he is. Llamas with 2. Old mate loves a good shot. This is the thing. Confident Llamas, best Llamas. The guy is actually incredible when he's on one, but unfortunately he does lose himself in the moment a little bit.
Now, an opportunity arises for these two players to get something happening against Avant, although that opportunity might be taken back, although he needs a single headshot. The scout or the deagle will do it. Versa, they're both so low. 10 seconds, he's going for the hunt, and Versa will keep hearing the footsteps stomping on the floor. I tell you what though, GZ, they're certainly fighting back.
They're doing it, getting it done. I'm impressed.
But what do you do now?
It's like, I don't know, man. It's a constant story though, right? Now, I was always going to sort of put something along this line of Avant should have been a relative shoe into a victory of this nature. And there you go. There's Sterling, APOC. A couple of frags found. Maker at least able to get one. Obviously just an eco here. No real big deal. But Sterling, he's actually gone for the full clean. He's only going to hang around with that USP. Quite a bold strategy. But, when you're going up against no head armor, it's always easy peasy lemon squeezy, especially if you are a man like Sterling. Loves his soccer. Also loves his headshot. Sorry, it's football, Mum and Sterling. I apologize. It's okay. But, yeah, look, sharp player. Has been doing well in the scene for quite some time. And yeah, again, Ground Zero, I feel like in their current setup, and if they're going to keep working through their issues, they've still got a long way to go before they are truly like reborn and able to take again. Like, I think Ground Zero is actually going to potentially even drop out of the top 8 before they can come back, if that makes any sense.
An interesting prospect, but rebuilding is something that, we've seen them, I guess, touch upon a little bit, so definitely going to see what they're going to be able to muster up. But in this round, it should be by all means a GZ round. They've gotten back the big weaponry. The AKs are here, the AWP as well. But look at Avant, man. They've just switched things up. APOC with this MP9, push comes to shove, holds W, gets a kill. Sterling's found one as well. They've still got a FAMAS and these 2 MP9s in the mix. But look what they've done. They've taken positioning off of GZ and they've actually locked them into long, where right now, if you're Versa, you're probably just twiddling your thumbs over at the B side, having a little bit of a chilled round and leading it to the rest of the boys to just do what they do best. Although Sterling, as we mentioned, a bit uncharacteristic in missing a couple of those AWP shots, with Burn and Lays now being the last one to live. A workable scenario if they find these kills, but time's ticking away and damage is starting to be delivered a little bit. But yeah, you mentioned the Molly. Hazard's already aware of it and is repositioned.
I don't think he saw the cross either. Burn not aware of the prospect at all. Hazard might swing and oh god. Imagine being that good at the video game. Deb, what are you... Oh, you're not feeding him currently, but Taylor, what are you feeding him? Tell me. I must know. Because if I could wake up in the morning and be that handsome and good at the video game, my life might be a little bit different, but it's okay. We live on. So yeah, look, Avant have just been really clean in what they're doing. So yeah, go on.
I wonder if Avant do win this and we get an interview, if we could get an interview from Offnu, which is, for those wondering, Hazard with a photo with some... maybe cut out eye holes to play the game tonight.
What, with the off-new picture?
Yeah.
Nah, good announcement though. Good
Last
announcement.
13 here, Mitch. There is a buy to come back from GZ. Any slip-ups though, and it'll probably put them onto an eco. They concede the potential, the third last round of math don't work. Avant to 15 and then play for overtime. It's going to be really hard fought now for them. They'll have that max loss bonus coming on through, but they've really just been punished at the time every single time. And now the trade comes out over through long. Hazard, the man, is just on a mission.
Now, well done. Hazard's continuing to lock down that long position, and Sterling catches off guard Llamas. And a question to yourself, Dion, but also to the chat, just in case you are unaware, is I was thinking about it today. Is Apoc still IGL or is Offnu taken over?
Okay, so Tham actually wants to know this one as well. If we have the opportunity to interview Avant, we could definitely get it here. Or if anyone in the chat would like to let us know, because I'm actually not sure. You know, there's Tham thought it'd be Versa coming into it, which is really interesting. I thought it would be potentially Apoc or Offnu coming into it, but
I know
Apoc,
Apoc was once upon a time, but then I know he didn't want to do it anymore, so then he gave it up. And then it was Blitz, but now obviously Blitz is gone. Maybe Offnu takes it back up. I don't know.
Of these players, Hazard or Sterling could probably comfortably pick it up because everybody just knows, all right, one person will call a strat and then it's just mid-round positioning. Like everybody pretty much knows how everybody works on this Avant roster, except maybe the addition of Versa now.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, no, it's an interesting one. Like, I don't typically see Hazard or Sterling as an IGL. And, like, for Hazard, for example, right? Like, I feel like IGLing would, like, restrict him even, you know, given how sharp and versatile he is. I guess he does play that, like, central rotating player. So, like, maybe he can get a lot of info, get a lot of control on certain maps. But, yeah, look, again, I remember having that conversation, like, when Nico had that, like, really, really bad period, it was because he was becoming IGL. And it's like, instead of just swinging stuff and clicking the head, he started to think. So it made him, like, bad.
Just go play like a pug. Wide swing corners and tap heads. Done.
Literally, dude. Well, it's like, I reckon there's so many times where I'll see Zaiwu, for example, just, like, swing something and just kill everyone. It's like, oh, okay. That wasn't a very, that wasn't a brain play. He just, I'm better than these people, so I'm going to swing and kill them all.
I want to see if Llamas could swing and kill people here, but the HE grenade is going to force him back and split the difference. Burn taking a bit of brutal grenade damage there. I mentioned if GZ lost the last one, you know, what do they do there? Do they cop an eco and then try to play for overtime? But they've gone for the force, so if they lose this, it's literally could be sending it into Mirage. Advanced map choice with a map deficit. A great flashbang from Hazard. Offnu just having a bit of a firing range presented in front of him. Aim duels galore. There's three. Gonna be shut down by Burn through the box, but Hazard will mop it up. And that is going to be 9 rounds advantage for Avant, and not that much of a stable purchase coming into GZ's pockets right now. So do we see something different? Do we see, because you look at this at times like this, when it's a crucial round to try to consume, you'll see teams go back and fall to your defaults and not try to catch your opponents off guard. I kind of want to see that from GZ. I want to see them, you know, just do something uncharacteristic and surprising in this round.
Well, it's been the regular thing, though, right? And something that we speak about quite often, I guess, with this Ground Zero roster is when they get a pick or they get a trade or something early, they quite often, like, leave it, you know, and they'll, like, either rotate out or they'll make an indecision that sort of goes, nah, I'm going to go somewhere else now. It's just like, why, man? Like, you've got the opportunity, you've got the timing, just go for it. Like, do something with what you've just taken. You can't allow, like, the team to recover from what you've done. So Avant, for example, in that round, by the time Ground Zero was finally executing short, every single player of Avant was defending the A side, except for one who was rotating around mid. Like, oh, look at this. You can't be giving the team this opportunity, and now Apoc's down mid, running out with the guns, utility out first, is going to find another, and
wow.
Yeah.
Jeez,
it is what it is, right?
Such a huge flank from Apoc. 4 in the round, like, just peeks through tunnels and realizing there's no pressure there. And that's the thing, like, Avant have been around these players specifically for so long, they'll find those niches and they'll find the repetitiveness from their opponents. And I think in that game, that's really where they just capitalized. They figured out what GZ were doing time and time again and capitalized on it. Sterling, I think he ended with 27 there. It's like nearly a 30 bomb. That's huge. Arkmate, what do you think?
Look, Ground Zero came out to a strong start, but unfortunately, Avant just turned it around. They clicked on, like you were saying. They got the strategies down, and they closed it out quickly. But it is only game 1 of 3. Even though it was Ground Zero's map, they still have a chance to bring it back. And so stick around. We'll see how game 2 turns out right after the break.
Want a $300 broadband credit on the house? Switch to an eligible Vodafone home broadband plan before 27 October and you'll get a massive $300 broadband credit to get you started. Join now by calling 0800 533 020. Exit fees and terms apply.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, CSGO fans, and welcome back to the LPL Pro Season 3 of CSGO. We have just witnessed Avant versus Ground Zero in Game 1, and things did not go Ground Zero's way in their first game, Conky.
Rounds. 5 rounds is all it took for Avant to basically work out Ground Zero's entire strat book. So Ground Zero started off really, really strong, you know, and then the immediate second that Avant worked out what they were doing, what their aggression was, they just started going A long, and it worked basically every time. And then one time they went B, and that also worked, and then it was just the game was done. So, look, very, very well done by Avant in the end. Aggressive, massive props to Versa for that one big round that he did have, and clearly keeping his composure on in this new roster so far. But Avant, look, still looking strong and continuing to contest, and Ground Zero definitely have a lot of work to do.
Now, look, Komodo, starting off in that first match, I think it was Conky who said, you know, we could be seeing Ground Zero starting off with the 5-0 beating Avant. Is that something now you think is still possible?
Look, I'm getting Paradox 2-0 vibes in this match so far, but that's not to say that it's definitely going to be a 2-0 here. I think, you know, Mirage is a map that GZ will know how to play. Likewise on Dust 2, I think when push comes to shove on that one, Avant just had the right reads and they applied the right pain onto those pressure points, specifically in the flanks. The amount of flanks that we saw come through from Avant in that game was phenomenal. Just APOC when it comes to mind, you know, time and time again, really just figuring out what to do, doing it, and it just executed flawlessly. So I think, look, it probably, in my mind, will be a 2-0 tonight, but there is still a way that GZ can bounce back.
I'm sure, of course, because, I mean, we are coming up to Mirage, like you mentioned. This is Avant's pick coming into this. Look, Conky, I want to hear, just before we shoot into the map as the players get ready, if you were sitting in comms with Ground Zero right now after that performance, what would Coach Conky say?
I wish I could be in person because I'd like grab them by the shoulders and shake them violently and be like, man, you guys are better than this. But anyway, again, that's only because I know them all so well. But now look, my whole thing is at the end of the day, they're an excellent Mirage team, right? Llamas as B-hold, really, really good. They know how to sort of take some mid to late round control of the A site. So whether or not it's taking Ramp or Palace or something along those lines. And I think Noobs is obviously really good locking down mid on the AWP as well. But I think, again, it's going to be another one of those things. If they show their hand a bit too early to Avant, I think Avant will just work them out, know what they got to do, and really sort of strike and take it. But again, to back up Dion's point, it's like it won't surprise me if Ground Zero do win this one. They likely won't win the series. Anyway, whatever it is, maybe they like send Avant into some mental anguish session. I don't know. But there is a possibility. There is a chance. But I think Avant are just looking really good.
All right, fantastic. Well, let's get into Game 2. Let's put all this theory to rest as we see the action unfold. Heading into Mirage for Game 2 of Avant versus Ground Zero. Take it away.
Mirage, baby, we are back. Go on, Dion. Tell me.
Mitchell, do you think that GZ would be a team with this lineup that if they figure Versa is, they could look to capitalize on that, being a young and I guess not as experienced player as the rest of the roster?
Dude, knowing GZ's luck, they'll find where Versa is and run to him and he'll get a 5K. Like, that's what I'm feeling right now. You know, they'll be able to somehow take advantage of that. I think Ground Zero, what they need to do here is they need to be confident in their own ability, move in little duos and pairs, and just get the job done. And there's Lays opening up with one. Very nicely done here to lock it down. Let's find second. Noobs is able to drop APOC in the process as well. Maker coming out of the connector smoke will choose to fall back in. Noobster holding that deep line. They're still going to plant the bomb. Versa alive alongside off Noob. Experience versus youth right now. Looking to get the plant done. And speaking of flanks, Burn is inside the A ramp. They're sending 3 members towards this CT position. So they're playing it smart. They're playing it wise. And now as Burn spots out the head of Offnu, he does miss a couple of shots and he gets a bit frustrated with that, you can tell, but it's okay. Very, very clean one-taps, exactly, onto the Avant side. That is a really nice retake coming in from Ground Zero. But with that being said, Avant, like, they just ran out A ramp, right? There was nothing special to it.
Yeah, it was. I kind of find that a very strange pistol from Avant, I guess, because whoever it was in the beginning, Sterling, had a Molotov in hand that they just kind of strafed and narrowed around A main in towards the corner and then tried to throw that over towards jungle. It's kind of weird for my liking, I guess. But hey, GZ are able to find it in the end. A bomb plant down for Avant does permit them into a purchase here. You can see they've gifted over to AKs to Hazard and Offner, who have the utility in the Kevlar, or the full armor rather. So if they're able to find some picks now, it could be quite a devastating round. It really is going to be onto Avant, though, in this round. It's their round to try and gain, right? It's ground zeros to lose. They've got the assurance that everyone's got the armor, there's utility, there's rifles across the board, bar Maker on the MP9. So it is just going to be coming down to, I guess, these little late round duels potentially. But Offner has given a bit of a chance here to Avant in finding Noobster, because I believe that's an M4 down.
Yeah, look, Offnu, he's been someone that's really impressed me. You know, you sort of think from time to time when a player has been around for a very, very long time, you know, sometimes they lose their juice. And I feel like they got to a point, right, when it was always that Offnu-Zusi duo. Zusi obviously took a step away from the game permanently due to his wrist injury, I believe it was. And also probably, you know, combined with a bit of lost love for the game. But regardless, man, Offnu, ever since he has had some different time in some different places, he's been doing really, really well, especially when he slotted into the Chiefs roster for a little bit. He was doing super well, but whatever gave him the position back that he wanted to go to Avant, you know, it's anyone's guess. I'm sure there was solid reasoning behind it. The trade, obviously, with Humongous. So I do just hope that this swap works out for both of these rosters, because we want to see them both succeed towards the top level. And look, if old mate's hitting shots just like that, APOC might be able to do something with it. But luckily, Maker will keep his cool, find the shots. That should be another AK hanging around. No, it's just a Famous. Got one AK. Maker on 3. And Ground Zero hold down 2, but it's exactly the same repeat of the last game, right? Ground Zero, they win the pistol, they win the second round, but by then, they've already lost a little bit of money to work with. So Avant, they're continuing to push on the pressure point, as you always speak about, and hopefully might be able to take something through further.
Well, the big thing for GZ is going to eat them apples and try to find up a bit of that mojo right now, because whilst they do have these 2 rounds, they only found 6 in their first map, and it was their map of choice. So they're looking to be a bit more devastating and punishing off the get-go in this one. They've already shut down one of Avant's little tricky early purchases or tricky little plays they've tried to do at the beginning of the game. And you look at Mirage as a whole, you know, it's not often, well, it is often rather, that you'll see the CTs just give control, release control in mid towards the T's. So Avant, you know, probably going to figure out that they can kind of gain mid control potentially a little bit easy when they get their rifles, and then it will be down to the stretching out. I'm going to keep a keen eye to see if GZ are going to fall into that, I guess, normal style, you might be able to say, for Mirage these days.
Yeah, look, time will tell. You know, we've got a few more rounds ahead where they will be able to buy. And Avant, they're going full blast in. It won't be Sterling picking up the AWP just yet. He's going to go for the rifle. Obviously, still a very, very well-equipped player on this weapon regardless. He's heading straight down towards mid, the usual default, sending him information towards B, probably sending a couple of members lowers, and just leaving the one lurk inside the apartments, which is obviously going to be Offnu. He's been able to slot into that role very, very well, which is what potentially means that I might think, you know, he could be the caller, but then again, at the exact same time, you know, if you're going for those lurks and everything, you know, you might not want to be. It's usually the Dexter style IGL where he lurks for information and then tells his team to go where the, like, enemy is not, I guess. He's like, I hear one here, go here.
Yeah. I'd love to see, you know, recordings of their comms and stuff one day, hey? Like, big credits to Order, who are doing that little content piece.
You mean Renegades?
Order's doing. Yeah, I want to see Renegades. I want to see Dexter and their comms and stuff. Are they
there is no comms. It's literally incredible to listen to them, right? It's just like the most cool, calm, and collected thing you'll ever hear. Like, none of them talk over each other. None of them say anything like really rampant and manic. It's wild. Like,
I've watched
sitting behind them at LAN.
Official.
Yeah, no, his pugs. Well, his pugs, because he speaks in that same voice. It's just very much like the same tone, very quiet, and everyone fits to that same tone. It's incredible to watch.
Well, we've had a bit of sleepy counter-striking in this round right now, and Lays here has been woken up by Hazard's bullet straight into the face, and Avon might have found the timing onto Noobster, but he will lose out to Duel, just trying to get the bomb plates down. Noobster a thorn in their size. He's actually bought time for Maker to push through this smoke. He might be able to rip it up from under.
Could get a couple.
Down. He needs to disconnect, but he will get taken out by Versa to close the round, and that's it. Avant, they went into this round, guns are blazing, and they find it.
Dude, that was such a bloody hectic round in the end of it, like the way that worked. And Maker, he tried to make the decision to run away and potentially go for the hide behind the smoke, but then was sprayed down. I think potentially if he had have maybe tried to force the matter and run on in, it might have been a different story. But regardless, you know, what kind of decisions do you make there in a 1v3? So anyway, Avant, you know, quickly find one back. I was hopeful after Noobster was able to find a couple of those frags early on. But there you go, Burn with his famed deagle. That's what I mean. Burn's one of those guys. It's kind of like Scoot. Do you ever remember watching Scoot play at all?
I think
he was like the kind of guy. Yeah, it was just like, don't ever buy a rifle, dude. Just use a pistol and only a pistol, because it's just like the aim is just otherworldly.
Well,
with these deagles.
It's all the pistols right now for GZ. Just looking at Burn's prowess on the KZ to jump up into ladder room, and then he finds that one dig. He found the second one. Okay. Now the P250, and now the rifle of Noobster. This round is looking pretty damn good for Ground Zero. Noobster should have the vertical flick downward onto Versa. Noobster, big Versa, and that's the round. That's an eco to come through from GZ to claim. I guess, you know, Avant, whilst I said that they would look to gain that mid-control in GZ letting them have it, it played into their hands. They were expecting it, and they were ready for it. And
the old Classico, right? Imagine if you played every single... And this doesn't go just for Ground Zero. This goes for like almost every team in Australia. Every round like your pistol. Not every round, but maybe just the round where it's like, I could have been a little bit more aggressive here, and there you go. Burn is doing it, but maybe a little bit too much. Luckily, though, he did have Maker there inside the connector position to swing up and help him, meaning that there was a couple of members taken down. Llama's looking up into the apartments as well. It's only on to Offnu here alongside Sterling. Sterling doesn't have any Kevlar. Offnu does, and Noobster looking towards Palace. Should very well spot out Offnu in just a second, has the info. And Sterling is going to be looking to join in, but quickly before he can even get there, Lays does find the frag onto Offnu, and now it's a 1 versus 4. Slowly walking into Palace, seeing what he's going to be able to spot out here. You know, Sterling could be happy to get away with just a frag. Maybe into the next, get rid of one of those extra rifles. Of course, just doing as much economic damage as possible, but Lays is going to swing up, and he's been pretty good on this A site so far. But again, one of Lays' problems has only ever sort of been overextending, over-peaking. So he's got to be a little bit more succinct with his timing and everything like that. But look, that'll come with time and age and everything like that. You know, more time in the server is eventually what does pay off. But look, Ground Zero, 5-1. We have seen this scoreline on the previous map of Dust 2, but Ground Zero, they're only able to find 6 rounds total, rather. So hopefully we do see something similar here. Avant are back in with a rifle buy, but they don't really have a whole lot of utility to go with.
Yeah, speaking about hours in the server, I think now would probably be a comfortable time to say I've probably watched more Counter-Strike or casted more Counter-Strike than played. just thinking about it as a whole.
Oh man, it's getting to that point for me as well. Hey, I mean, look, I'd probably be lying if I said that. The amount of hours that I've wasted in solo queue and the amount of MM we used to play in 5 stacks back when it was like not bad.
The only thing.
Yeah. That was good days, man. Good days. I still really, really hope that Valve fix it so you can stream MM, like soft approve OBS or something.
The other night?
Yeah, using your webcam to watch the monitor, so, you bloody idiot.
For those people that weren't aware, I queued into a matchmaking and I forgot about the whole trusted issue, so I couldn't actually capture the game to stream it out. So I had a webcam I put on top of my microphone, pointed at my monitor, and captured it that way. It was incredible. The most scuffed thing ever, but it kind of reminds me of like game battles from COD 4, like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
that's what I had to do because I didn't have a capture card.
Anyway, needing potentially a capture card right now will be the side of Ground Zero, because they're watching obviously getting pulled apart. But this is very good from Noobster. Oh, but the swing from Hazza, defending his teammate with Valor. There you go. Hazza looking to get some more damage done through the smoke as well. Llama's now inside 1 versus 2. He'll slowly creep out. Will he be able to find Sterling? He will. But is he ready for Hazza? He is. Only just though. Oh,
top.
the timing. Whether or not he goes for this, he's got the molly, but no, Llamas, you don't need to throw the molly, mate. You know that Hazard is going to swing you and ding you, mate. Come on, grow up. Very well done.
Yeah,
by Hazard there.
For
the
bring it
2K,
back into
because
my
now Avant are on 2.
bring it back into my favorite word I think I've come across this whole series. Hazard has diddled Ground Zero out of a round. So all on the back of that utility being pulled out from Llamas. A little bit unfortunate, but hey, sometimes you do get a little bit hot under the color. You pull out your utility, and because sometimes it does go your way. But for now, it doesn't. And we've got a little bit of different KZ coming through this time. Last time was Burn. Now it's Maker. The short jump onto the fence, which he topples over with this AWP to get a little bit of a line on the corner of the smoke. But Avant, they're going to wait it out. Sterling's going to potentially even catch a frag here on Llamas. He was careful to get that info, but I think he's seen it, yeah, potentially, because he's fallen off and he's taking a more passive angle. But look at this. It's only Sterling here. There's no trade potential if he loses his life, and he's probably by his HP already copped a HE grenade at the beginning of the round.
Well, it's pretty wild to see, though, right? You know, my sort of thoughts on Ground Zero has always been a really, really good B team, and B site is something that quite often ends up being a little bit weak. You know, you regularly see, teams rushing towards that site. You can get down the archers, smokes, and also the market window, and it can be really, really challenging to defend it because of the verticality on the site. But look, at the end of the day, it's Llama's territory, and Maker, he's going to take a little bit of an overstep, and that's what we speak about confidence, though, right? Moves up solo almost towards top mid. He did have a member helping him from Connector, which was Lays, but to have the confidence to go up top mid, and he's picked up a second here as well, Maker. Now Llama's locking it down towards B. Here we go. Much, much better. Maker and Llamas, the dynamic duo, they find a 6th round for Ground Zero. And do you know what else they find? The pockets of Avant, because apparently they're empty.
Yeah, look at Maker as well. 11 kills so far, leading out the charge. Burn not too far behind on 9, and then Noobster on 8. So GZ, they've done well to find 6 on their CT side, and they're actually propped up to find even more. So doing better than their scoreline after this one from their own map pick. Avant feeling a little bit of floaties in the water right now. They need to find a life raft if they're to get back and kicking when they do have their purchase round again. Just looking for a little bit of a gimme gun in this one, see what they can relieve off of Ground Zero's hands. But I mean, the money situation for them, whilst it's not the greatest, it's still going to be enough to get another purchase in the next round regardless. Burn will be saved by Maker. Sterling doesn't opt to go through the smoke here. So Avant, not really gaining too much off these pistols unless Hazard can pay me my words. He has been seen. You're really, there we go, asking the question now on the back of this round, Avant, have they figured out their information like they did in map number 1 on Dust 2 to punish GZ?
Great shots there from Hazard, but look, now in only 9 rounds, they've actually managed to find a bigger score than they did in the entirety of Dust 2. So whatever Ground Zero is doing, whatever recipe is on the cookbook right now, they are certainly cooking up a storm. So well done so far for the Green Boys. West is best. Can confirm, by the way.
Hey,
not very exciting over here, but look, it's pretty good.
You reckon they're cooking with those Damascus stainless steel knives?
Oh, man. If I get caught spending $400 on knives, I'm going to be so sad. But Maker, he's not getting caught. He's actually... Oh, wow! Very well done. Please go up and no-scope Versa. Okay, never mind. Go for it. Gets the Molotov up instead. And ultimately, hey, look, if you had tried, maybe you wouldn't have died to Offnu, because now Offnu's found a little bit of room to move inside it, but this is much better. Super clean. Maker's moving in with confidence, and I like the fact that they moved into pals together. Sure, Lays died, but they get the info. They can immediately rotate over. They know exactly what's coming towards them. And now Ground Zero, do you know what they've done? Something that they're not used to. They've won out the half against the top 4 team. Incredible.
Need a little bit of ice for that burn there, I feel, potentially. But we'll wait and see if GZ are going to be able to close it out here,
okay?
Mitch.
Because
it's kind of, if you think about it, it's a little bit warranted, right? GZ have looked a little bit shaky, out of form. So if they're able to really have a nice reverse sweep in a big different score line, it could really kick him into overdrive. Because something that we're forgetting a little bit potentially, and people at home might not realize, is this is an elimination match. The loser of this game is gone from the LPL season.
That's right. And obviously, you know, both these teams, at the end of the day, they are the winner even goes on to face the victor of both Vertex and Paradox. Now, Paradox was in the grand final last season. They only just came up short to Rooster. Rooster's looking really, really good at the moment. I wouldn't actually be surprised if they won the whole thing, which would be an incredible feat of endurance. But correct. But Lays, just on the other side of that one way, is able to lock it down. Spots out Versa at triple, gets another shot as well. The main thing is here, Lays hasn't overextended. He's actually just waited for them all to walk in, but Offnu at least will be able to find the shot. He might drop Burn in the process as well. He will. They're swinging out, but they're able to trade. And Llamas to drop him as well. So Ground Zero now with 9, starting to be able to put a little bit of momentum behind them. If they find 10, that is where they can start to finally breathe a bit more comfortable. You know, one thing is that Ground Zero, they might have a really stellar half on one side, but then they can, you know, quite commonly lose out on their momentum into the next half. Whether or not, you know, Avant, they're going to get a really, really solid pistol round down on the CT side or something along those lines. I can see them very comfortably bringing it back. So I hope for not only the series, but also Ground Zero's sake, that we actually do see a third map come in. Very nice shots there from Noobs. And now Sterling's holding the line. All Noobs needs to do is not re-peek into it, and he's made the right choice. He's going to head on back. They've dropped the bomb inside mid. They've got the information that they need, and that's the thing, right? Why overextend in a 5 versus 3? You've already got the frags. You've already put a bit of the press of the brake on the aggression for Avant, so hopefully we can see more Noobs than just missing that shot. Peeking Sterling in mid from a different angle, but here's something you don't often see either. Sterling's 2-11. He was almost 30 kills last game.
I think the big thing as well now is GZ would have realized the bomber's in mid, so they're relieving a little bit of this control there to focus on the players that are extending out into A, because ultimately they know that the bomb has to go into A. Burn's done really well to hold bay and find Versa, but getting on the trade, there's still 50 seconds on the clock to get this bomb down, so GZ, you know, Maker's still over at B. He's not going to be able to catch Versa in transition through connector. It's going to be on a Lays, and there you go. They've got that little information on where these GZ player is, because I don't think Avant have figured out where both of them are potentially. We'll have to wait and see. The plan's going to be next to triple. Maker can't deny it just yet, but Lays, he could catch time.
Oh, no.
To get the headshot, and now it's a 2 versus 1. If you're Maker, you need to take these 1 versus 1 duels, but if you're Avant, you don't want to give it to them. It'll be a full house for these boys. They've found 2 apiece in this round so far. A round that you potentially, again, would have thought it was Ground Zero. It was, what, 5 versus 3? But now Avant have made able to bring it back, and they might be able to find their 3rd round here. Hopefully kick them into overdrive to get 6.5.
Avant are just so good at finding these picks though, right? This was a 3 versus 5 that they've been managed to solidify, and at least Maker's going to be able to find 1, but he took 45 seconds to start that retake basically, you know? Like, by the time he was in, it's already too late, and I guess, you know, he's just sort of playing a little bit passive. They do need the money. They've got the round advantages. They don't need to throw away the AWP. It's important to take it back in, especially because Burn and Lays don't have a whole lot of money. But regardless, man, I think, you know, Maker certainly has to have a little bit more confidence in himself. He's 14-4 against Avant. The guy is incredible. He just needs to give himself a little bit more space. But regardless, always daunting, and they have made the right choice to at least save, establish another buy, but that is a round that you should never be losing in any way, shape, or form in a 3 versus 5. Noobs has found the opening, but look at this already. Avant, they're straight out A main, and they're going straight through the fire here. Has a very low. Now Burn might be able to do some damage, but quickly already up over the stairs. Lays finds 2. And now they can try and lock it down here in this 3 versus 2, but look at it. We're looking at the exact same duo that was able to win out the previous round. Lays, though, has dropped off Nu. That's 3. And now Sterling, 1 versus 3 here. Can drop down to the side. Oh, he can find this shot. Lays, I don't know why you're pushing through that smoke by yourself, buddy. Thought he might have been able to have the timing, but now Maker. Is Sterling going to go for this? He fakes the plan. He fakes it indeed. And Sterling has found it. Again, a 1 versus 3. And it's almost like he's calling over saying, boys, dinner's ready. And in the end, he just eats the meal in front of him.
Well, I mean, if he's paying for flights over to New Zealand and wants to, you know, get me over there behind the borders and everything, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, Melbourne's doing better now, but I'm still in my bedroom. That's all I'm saying. 4 rounds for Avant here, Mitch. They're starting to make it look plausible. Sterling finds Burn at the little blossoming of the smoke. This is a force to come through for GZ as well. Glass cannon on to Noobstar, and you're really starting to think, all right, last round and a half next, GZ's money kind of broken. Potentially Avant may be able to find it, but that's not to say that GZ won't be able to win this round. Although Apox already found his way into window to find Versa. This is totally still anyone's round. Look at where the bomb is as well. Lanes, though, is going to get caught off guard, and this round is just kind of chaotic in information.
Llamas, if he finds the bomb, that actually could be huge, but APOC has already found so much in the round. And I guess the main thing is, oh, he's moving in with the pistol. Oh, he's got the AWP. It's Noobster. Never mind, sorry.
I think he heard him.
I thought that was Llamas that was going to be pushing through, but maybe he did. But now that's just going to be the A site given up straight away. Noobster. Oh, wait, hang on. Never mind. Leave me alone. I know what I'm looking at. I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, Ground Zero, you know, once more, they allow that mid control to be given, and APOC walks all the way through, gets inside the window, moves his way around jungle, and just basically rips like a little like a ninja project, basically. Able to sort of knife a couple of people in the back on the way through, and not really allowing Ground Zero into this. And yeah, look, they've looked really, really scared in these last few rounds. They've made it pretty close in a couple, and I feel like if they had have won this round, you know, that would have been an eco into the next for Avant. It should have very well been Ground Zero taking 11, but now double digits is actually questionable for Ground Zero, and we're going to likely see a 9-6 half if they're unable to take this through, which then means that they live up to your scoreline in the previous one, and but this time obviously the flipped teams. But will that mean that Ground Zero can get the T-pistol and actually do something with it?
That's always it, isn't it? If you're a T-sided team, you want 7 to 8 or you want 6 to 9 at least. I guess maybe except for Inferno, maybe one of those maps where we see the T side kind of be a little bit more plausible to get a lot more rounds on. But hey, you stack up some teams, sometimes it just goes completely in one team's favor, and those normality scorelines are just out of existence completely. 4 to 11, of course, everybody knows is that cursed scoreline, but we'll leave it there, as well as Mirage being the overtime scoreline. But it's also the point and factor that you win your opponent's map by a large scoreline for both of them if GZ win this one out from here, you know, and then third map overtime.
4 versus 4. They've managed to pull the rotate away from the B site, but that means Avant is slowly going to start being able to work their way back over there. And again, Llamas, you know, it's his playground, it's his defensive position. He has only needed to lock it down once in this half so far, and he did very, very well. Would be very critical for them to try find this 10-5 half. You know, at least it gives them that additional buffer to work with. But they're actually not looking too sold on this B site at all. Offnu's just waiting to see if there's going to be any rotation in APOC, also giving themselves some additional time as well. So it really just depends. It looks like from this utility that he's got set up, he's going to throw the flash over towards B and then potentially start to send the bomb back A. And that wouldn't surprise me. But Maker's positioning inside Palace, he needs to not falter. He needs to lock this one down. And it looks like there's still not really going to be that rotate though, right? You know, Noobs is watching towards Connector, but he needs to find the right amount of timing. Now they're heading up ramp. He misses the opening shot. Critical, but now he knows that there's potentially one coming up Connector, and he's absolutely right because there is. Let's get a smoke grenade down to allow himself some additional time. Actually falls back into CT. Very, very big play there to come out from Noobster, and I'm just liking this slow possible play to come out from Baker. If he's able to strike at the right time, there it is. There's one, there's two, almost a third. He does run out of bullets. Now it's on the Versa. The Versa picked up 2. Could he find 3? He actually tries to turn away, but now where is Offnu? There is going to be no way that he checks towards CT here. Offnu has done it again. I'm a liar. Noobster's apparently Giga Brain.
He ran.
He did, didn't he?
Production loves the Gigabrain call, and I like it as well. To be honest with you, it's a 10th round for GZ, leading at the half by 5, so not the 6 to 9 that I come to maybe predict in this one right now, but we change it up. Avant onto their CT side, and if you cast your mind back to Dust 2, you know, CT Avant, they were able to claim out that pistol, so whether or not they're going to be able to here as well is going to be another story. I'm kind of going to draw it back to the conversation that we kind of always have though, Mitch. We have games like this where we're expecting it to be extremely close, and the scoreline doesn't reflect that, but the rounds kind of do. It gets down to your nitty-gritty 1-1s.
Yeah, no, always. Those clutch situations, the high-pressure opportunities, it's what we love to see in Counter-Strike. And now the El Clasico, something we see quite regularly in Australian CS now, is the smoke towards stairs, smoke towards jungle, and then obviously a bit of a run out towards all the players try and lock down that CT position and try and get as much information as possible with the bomb being planted as well. But look at this way that Avant have been able to adapt. They're sending one member into the spawn. Burnt surely has to be ready for this. APOC, big boy flank as he heads his way around. And now 3 other members looking ahead into CT. Has his waited for his team to come back. The flash is good, but there's Llama's moves to Sterling though. Able to find 1 and 2. Does quickly get the trade. And now APOC, he's actually walked out of Palace and now he knows exactly where Noobster is. Doesn't have the kit though. Good flash. Turns away. Noobson knows the timing is right. Definitely would have heard the footsteps. Surely. No! APOC, what a shot! This guy is incredible, and I think he has enough time as well.
Yeah, he should. I think it'll not even tick green here.
Yep, there you go. Well done.
Just
very well done.
Very well placed. You look at Avant, ready for that CT push as well. You could see that, I believe it was Hazza playing anti-flash here in the spawn and then calling the flash. Teammates, they take a 3 versus 3 duel. Sterling, phenomenal work to be able to find 2 to really get Avant back into a winnable circumstance. But APOC pushing out of Palace at the right time, catching off the player at Tetris, and then the 1 versus 1. Could have technically gone for that 10-second defuse, would have won it, but he gets the kill in the end and the 10-second defuse after the fact. So Avant, they claim the pistol, but there's a force back by GZ here, looking to extend out through mid. It does favor Avant in the piece, and they retreat with life to spare.
So smart though, you know, that's what I think about Avant though, right? They've got 2 members peeking out a connector and 1 out a window to retake that mid control, right? You know, they're not giving up any sort of opportunity here, and Versa not going to catch off, be caught off by Llamas rather. Now it's on a Maker in a 1v3. They know exactly where he is. And I am really proud of Versa right now. He's been playing very, very well. I mean, it's been a little bit of a slower match for him this match, but I feel like he's had a fair few impact frags, to be honest. You know, he's had a good couple of defenses. So, no, very, very nicely done so far for Avant. Going to be able to send Ground Zero packing here. And this is the cause for concern that always is with Ground Zero, right? You know, they'll have a stellar half or they have a really good start, and then all of a sudden they get worked out by the opposing team. And they don't really adapt. They don't really change any play style. They kind of feel like they're getting a bit stuck in their ways, I guess you could say. Because again, you know, Ground Zero, their capability is such an incredible team. And sometimes I would just like to see them do something absolutely brain dead monotonous, you know? 5 push Palace or something just never makes any sense. Because on the rounds where Ground Zero do switch it up, especially when you see them do it with these pistols on their CT side, a lot of the time they do actually get away with murder. And that's something that is very, very important as a team to be able to do. So anyway, Sterling, he's gone for just the USP. This was the thing that Crunchy used to do, and it made me very sad because it was like, I'm better than you in the second round, which is fair because, you know what? He was. Ghost. He was. Yeah, oh, no, he used to do second round USP in CS as well.
Oh, yeah, same thing. Sterling, though, will lose his life to the better pistol right now of Noob's Deagle. Trades to come on through, and we are asking the question, of course, you know, GZ, they got to buy in the next round. Do they slip it up? Do they lose their first purchase rounds to Avant? Well, of course, the answer, guys, wait and see. We don't know yet because it hasn't happened. So in this 2-man advantage, Avant, you want to see them really not lose any of this weaponry that they have. Llamas will lose his life, and it's just going to be down to Burn, who will be spotted by Offnu, and there is the kill as well. So 8 found for Avant. They hold off with 4 weapons into the next round. And Sterling, he can get armor behind... actually, Money, no, he can't. He can't get the AWP with the armor behind it that he was saving for. Oh no, he's going to get it dropped. There you go.
Big math.
I was just like, I was looking at his money, and I'm like not even looking at his teammates' money because I'm like forgetting that, hey, that's actually a thing in Counter-Strike. You drop weapons.
Oh yeah. I still don't want to play it again, man. I'm too terrified of experiencing Diamond. Dude, it just actually gives me anxiety.
Cursed. It's cursed.
If I get told about a Fortnite player how to throw a flash, I might send myself out. I don't know. Anyway,
dude, do you know what
that's a discussion for a different day. No, what is it?
Come sit out of shots like go frag. Old W. Nah, here we go. It's good to see that the boys aren't all holding W in this. Hello, Llamas. That's a cheeky flashbang out of the match back in. Yeah. Thank you, Toby, for that view. Always love pleasured work. Appreciate your work, rather. But what I was going to say is it's good to see that the boys aren't all holding W in this round, right? It's good to see that on the rifle rounds, everybody's playing it out that they need to be doing, playing it information heavy. I do like the boost that they're trying to put up in towards the mid window, although have they split off it? They're actually gone up into ladder room right now, it looks like. So Lays is going to kind of be floating about in through towards mid window. 40 seconds to go, and it might look to be a little bit of a fake withdrawal to the B side versus I think he might have been spotted out there, but they're ready for this connector push. They definitely aren't ready for the peek up the window. Oh, and he loses the duel.
That's pretty rough there, and now he's going to be swinging around. APOC can clear up 2 more, make that a third. No, not quite, never mind. Only Maker gets away with 7 points of HP. Very well done there, and now Llamas can try and find something, though Sterling waiting for him does have the bomb dropped as well. Now he has to head up short. Sterling's never going to miss that shot. And yeah, look, very well done. Almost a team ace. Hazard the only one missing out. APOC was there with 2. But yeah, again, you know, I feel like I've just a broken record at the moment, repeating myself, just constantly looking down the barrel of the same old thing that I see every single time we sort of watch Ground Zero. It's just like a really hot start, and then they slow down. And I'm never going to take anything away from Avant because they are obviously playing this very, very well. They are clearly a good team at adapting what a certain opposing team will throw at them. That's one of the things that I was always to be able to put up about Avant. Like, they would have sometimes like inconsistent results against like the top. You know, sometimes they would come out like cracking hot against Renegades, but then maybe lose to Order or something. You never know. But when they would verse like teams that technically and statistically worse than them, they would just clean house. They would never lose to teams that were quote unquote worse. Whereas Ground Zero, you know, they'll quite often sometimes come up against teams that are better than them, be more prepared, maybe win it out, whatever it is, but then lose to teams in MDL and just, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I digress.
A minute on the clock right now. GZ without Lays. See if they can get something surprising in this round with these Deagles. They are yet to find a T-side round in this engagement so far on this map here. We are waiting and seeing what Burn wants to do over at the A site. Does catch a HE grenade to tickle his fancy. Sterling will find him there, but the rotation hasn't even been pulled off from this B side. APOC gets his head ripped off on a hazard. Can he find more than one? The spray is aloof, but he gets it done in the end. Nevertheless, 4 alive for Avant, but the important thing here is we are at a tied scoreline right now, 10-10. And yeah, really haven't seen anything from GZ just yet in terms of real rounds, of course, but kind of feel like on impact-wise and kill-wise and everything on this side as well.
So the AWP picked up for Sterling. Still holding on to it. It's been, again, really, really incredible. This time they actually send one member into window, tap away top mid. Sterling's going to peek out connector. Nothing yet spotted, though. Can hold the cheeky little line on the other side of that smoke. Lays starting to creep his way up towards ramp. It certainly looks like they're already ready for the split here, but look at that. Immediately, Sterling's already ready for it. And now Ground Zero, they've lost their IGL, and they're going to potentially start to question what they want to do here. Maker does have the Molotov to send onto the balcony, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. They are going to start to head their way out onto A. They need to lock this down, and they need to do something relatively fast. Offnu's going to hold it behind, but as the flash comes out, they are going to be allowing him to sort of move back into CT. Versa to drop one more, and now Sterling looking to pick up. He's taken down by Llamas. Very good trade there. Versa also dropped by Llamas. He can take some control here, but Hazard and Offnu, they're already CT, and now they can look to potentially get this plant. The smoke grenade actually does afford the opposing team some extra opportunity, but look at APOC. He's already on that flank again. Should be able to find so much information. Noobs are yet to be spotted.
Ooh.
He is up very close to that city smoke, but oh, what's he looking for now? That's always going to be the question. There we go. They know. They are ready for it. No BS thrown at them today. And now Noobs are getting that plan. They have to be ready for this member in towards jungle. Hazard still inside CT. It's going to be locked down by Llamas, but Offnu, he's ready to start to push through this one. The old swing back, but there's Offnu with the right amount of timing. And now Llamas caught in no man's land towards a ramp there. The AWP will be recovered for Sterling back again, but that is Avant taking the lead back into their throws. 11-10 is the scoreline. And Avant, yeah, again, you know, they're able to just find these opening picks so regularly, and Ground Zero just sort of like, you know, they take the site, but they're licking their wounds, and Noobs really had to step up to find that info onto the flank, and then all of a sudden it's a 2-on-2, but then they lose it straight out of their hands.
Yeah, you look at Apoc though, right? The amount of times that we've seen him across both of these maps find the flank, and Noobster was equipped with the statistical data, the knowledge, the know-how, and when that flank was going to be coming, and he read into it, right? He shuts down the flank, but then they lose the 2 versus 2 duel, which is kind of unfortunate because now they've also lost the lead. Still a flawless CT half coming out from Avant so far, and they have let the domain of mid go into GZ's control. They're saying, all right, we know that we have to give up mid, and it's come to be known in Mirage time and time again that the CTs are just going to play these extremities or look to do some sort of big aggression in the mid because it's very easy to smoke out window, quite easy to get up towards the position, and you know, GZ, they've proven that with boosting up in lays, but for right now, Avant, in just holding out these positions on the sites, they've just found some clean kills with no return from GZ, who now are looking pretty scarce in utility as well as now bodies because Burn also meets his demise.
2 versus 5. I feel like, again, you know, just almost, again, repeating myself in these positions. Only so much you can sort of analyze when Avant are just completely walking all over ground zero on this CT side. You know, Mirage, one of those maps that is definitely CT-sided, but whether or not it's like that CT-sided, you know, like it sort of does start to become a bit more of a 50-50, especially in that tier 1 pro play. You do regularly see these teammates, or these teams rather, getting these rounds accordingly. And yeah, I just don't really know what to sort of put my finger on right now. Avant, they're just continually ahead of the curve here. Able to work out exactly what Ground Zero are doing, finding the opening duels, trading, moving as a unit, just everything that they need to do. And despite, you know, going out very, very early, it was what, a 9-2 scoreline, I think it was at one point. And now Ground Zero 10-12. Avant have well and truly taken back the lead, and they are looking to close this 2-0.
Yeah, definitely in a lead at 2-0 and scratch at the heels of GZ. Kind of ask him what doing here. They've gone into a little bit of a force right now, straight up through connector, which first immediately was ready for. Gets cleaned up in the piece, a trade from Alfnu, but now Sterling, the player that you would expect out of everyone on this roster to be overwhelmed by pistols if a shot is missed, has actually held off the groundwork better than the rest of the team has to right now, and it's all going to be down to Maker, who pushes into CT, but Sterling finds that one as well for 3. So really just a powerhouse in this game. He's sitting on 18 kills, which is, you know, quite balanced with the rest of his team. It's not like Dust 2, where he was the instigator in that roster. 27 kills, far ahead out of everyone on the server. So this really has just been a spectacular run to come through from Avant in switching on to the CT side. And you are just kind of thinking, all right, GZ, you look at their scores, you look at their kills, they are in line with what Avant have found, or what they have right now. But, you know, scorelines, there's no impact. There's no ready, set, go for GZ yet on this T side.
Nothing at all, unfortunately. Ultimately, cheeky little pause to come through. Maybe a bit of a discussion, but also maybe a little bit too late in the piece as well for that exact same thing. Good to see the Ground Zero still are taking the tactical, though. And that's the thing, though, right? You know, they're still in it to win it. They still can do something about this scoreline. They need to work out, you know, what... I think the main thing at the moment is what Avant have been doing in mid, like how they continue to play this. Because look at this again. Apoc's already top mid, flashed up through. We've already got the AWPer of Sterling on short, and now they're going to head towards B, and that means that there's going to be 2 members of short heading straight down. Lamas gets a good pick onto Hazard there, but already Sterling to find one. They're stuck in the apartments. Now the nades start to come down. Utility to just completely demolish and stop this defense. And once again, you know, sure, they found a pick back, but already we see this flank on coming in from Alfnu. Sterling's going to be able to... No! Oh, Noobster! He takes down Lays, but luckily, it's a 2v1. They've been able to hold on for a little while longer, and despite being sort of forced into a corner, they've done really well. And I think the Maker actually looks like he's somewhat aware of this, but Noobster, oh, he's found it. He's got so much info. They don't know. They don't know at all. Oh, man! Maker, who played it to perfection, but unfortunately Maker just peaked at the right time, at the right opportunity was given. Ground Zero find 1, which puts them at 11. But look how much money Avant still have. They will start to bear down a little bit on the economy side, but Sterling still... Now, everyone's got another buy in the next, surely, which means that Ground Zero have still a fair bit of work to do to get this one through.
kind of makes me feel like at a point in time right now, Avant, when they do lose a round as well, they want to potentially change things up and they want to go very aggressive, and they've kind of done that with Offnu getting Ansi in towards A main, but it's not the sort of Flom play to come out where you put Sterling posted on the AWP and you get someone to back him up. I think I'm still yet to see an AUCS team opt for that sort of style of Mirage where, you know, you do post up that AWP and you try to trade it out if they miss. You really just put the pressure all the way over through to A main and kind of play your floaties around mid and the B site. Personally, I like that style. But you look at it right now, you know, Avant, they've had this really good run on this CT side. It's left Ground Zero kind of wondering, how do we break into it? And you think about that last round, right? Yeah, they win it and everything, but did they really change up anything significantly? Not really.
No, not really. I feel like they were just sort of a little bit more confident in their own trades, because the fact is they were able to get, like, they lost the opening pick and they still found the round in a 4v5 despite a team kill. So it was effectively a 3 versus 5. So well done from Ground Zero. That's what I mean again though, right? You know, we know they're able to do it, and that is a good pick found, but now Maker flashed off the line. Verse is going to be able to drop Burn, and it's just not working, buddy. The amount of times I've seen Burn dying connector, trying to go for that A site split. Versa is just switched on as anything, and now every single member is already here. Noobs is going to go for that shot, does find it, but now, ooh, he can head back B, almost. If he heads up short, potentially, yep,
Still
he might actually find a site.
Though.
Yeah.
You can tell that Apoc's
He's got
ready
to
for
try
it. There is a
find a
Molotov
plan as
from
well, but yeah, look, they're already through.
which isn't here, but yeah, I mean, they're already through. No scope, he wouldn't even find it, and then instantly plant, but Hazard would have been there too to deny IS if you tried for the plant. So, and it was technically his only way in, but with the time where it was, it really wasn't his way in. So a bit unfortunate there for GZ. Time gets the better of him, but now they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? They purchase here, they'd have no money if they lose it in the next one, so they go for a half buy. They're gonna have to play for overtime if they lose this round, and again, it's just kind of feeling like Avant have just been superior every time in this map so far. When they switch sides, Sterling just pushes mid. He finds kill.
Well, it's the exact same thing again, right? You know, I don't think Avant have been doing anything wildly different. Avant have just sort of been playing the round out the way that they feel like they need to adapt to Ground Zero. But that's what I mean. The amount of times that I've seen in this half, like I'd say five alone that Ground Zero have tried to go for that A site split, you know? Get one underpass, get him late connector, something along those lines. But now they're actually doing some work. They've managed to bring it back to a 3-on-3. Hazard's been lucky to find another one. They've got no Kevlar. That's the main thing. Blaze is going to look to flash out. This is a great peek in from Apoc. Luckily, he is taken down in the end, but Hazard's already repositioned, but it doesn't matter where Hazard is, because Offnu is going to be able to lock it down. And you are right. That is a lot of damage, in the famous words of the man from the Flex Glue ad. That's a lot of damage! But, unfortunately, Ground Zero have not sawed the boat in half, and they haven't found much more. Because, yeah, again, this is an opportunity to try and get it back, but unfortunately, as much as it doesn't even feel like it, this is basically, series point, and unfortunately for Ground Zero, competition point, and Sterling's been allowed to get up short again. They've left him, but he's just chasing. Sterling's just chasing. They're not even looking for him. What is going on right now? I am molding. Lamas has fallen to his death. This is just, I'm actually molding. Like, don't come back onto me, because my hair's all gone.
This is not a plug.
My hair's all gone. No. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. It's incredible. I can't handle it anymore, man. It's gonna put me into a bloody early grave. I swear to God, some of this Counter-Strike. But look, at the end of the day, I am bad. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just try to bring the entertainment for you guys. And look, at the end of the day, that's going to be Ground Zero ending their run. I am glad that it was a team like Avant, though, because Avant come into this competition as probably the favourites. So very well done for them to take out this series 2-0. Ground Zero gave it a good effort to come back, but unfortunately, it just did not happen. Ark, send us home, mate.
I'm sure they can't be too disappointed by being knocked out by none other than Avant, like you mentioned, but unfortunately it just seemed to be a recurring nightmare there for Ground Zero. Getting that early lead in the first game and then just getting wiped out clean by Avant, and then again getting a big head start, a bigger head start, but still not able to close it out. We're going to catch up with Avant after this as we move into our next match, and so don't go anywhere. We'll be back after these messages.
Want a $300 broadband credit on the house? Switch to an eligible Vodafone home broadband plan before 27 October and you'll get a massive $300 broadband credit to get you started. Join now by calling 0800 533 020. Exit fees and terms apply.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, CSGO fans, and welcome back to the LPL Pro CSGO. For those of you who are just joining us, we have just seen Ground Zero versus Avant battle it out in an elimination match, and Avant have been successful in securing themselves one more match as we keep going forward, teetering on that line, trying to get back into the upper bracket. And thanks to our friends at Vodafone New Zealand, we have Hazza on the line with us. Hazza, how's it going?
Hey boys, how's it going? I'm going pretty good as well.
Yeah, I bet you are after that match. Obviously feels so good to win that one out and stay in the tournament. But look, I just want to ask you before we start, before I give the boys a chance to ask you another question as well, looking forward to your next match. We're about to play off and the winner of that match will be your opponent, Paradox and VERTEX. Is there a preference? Do you know who you want to verse in that next match?
Not really a preference. I think they're both like good opponents, you know. I think they're pretty, I don't know, equal in each other. Obviously, we just stole one of their players, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, looking forward to just like playing more games with the team, you know, with the new roster. So it's like a full reset for us. So yeah.
Fantastic. I'll pass you over to Komodo to ask you the question.
Yeah, so in the new roster and everything there, Jared, who's taking the reins? Who's IGL?
It will be APOC, the veteran.
Cool. There you go. Cool. So I just wanted to add in there, Jared, very, very nervous, very excited to finally be able to interview you, my man. It's been a long time, and I know the fans always been hanging out watching yourself and playing games as well, so that's really sick. But no, man, I wanted to say, like, one thing that I noticed about your guys' team, and it was very, very apparent in this matchup tonight, was as well, like, Ground Zero seemed to have some like really good starts, and then ultimately you guys were like well and truly all over them. I know, like, I swear to God, if I tried to see Burn go up behind you guys and connect it one more time, I was going to lose my mind. But you guys are a really good team at like adapting to what an enemy team throws at you. What's that sort of like? Like, how do you guys change your mindset like after they start to get a fair few rounds?
Yeah, for sure. We're just a bit, we just keep it chill, to be honest. At the moment, we don't have much pack. Like, we've only played literally one scrim, so we're literally just playing on the fly, you know. Just trying to keep our comms up and just like play pretty stable CS. Yeah.
Well, it seems like a bit of a winning formula there because you are doing well, able to take out Ground Zero. Anything else you'd like to say before we move on to our next match?
Not really. Thanks for the interview, guys.
Fantastic. No worries. Thanks for being on the line with us. Have a good night.
See you guys. Thanks.
See you later. Well, let's take a look at our updated leaderboard. That was Hazza from Avant, who have secured their place in the next round, unfortunately saying goodbye to Ground Zero, as we can see there. And next up, we have Paradox versus VERTEX in the lower bracket. Now, these teams will be battling it out to see who versus Avant to go into the final loser bracket there against the loser of Chiefs versus Rooster. And so we have some phenomenal games coming up. And moving into our next game then, Paradox versus VERTEX. Any opening thoughts on this one, Conky?
Yeah, look, this one's going to be exciting. Last night, obviously, VERTEX actually did manage to take down Paradox. Paradox have got a new player, which we'll see, which has actually been, funnily enough, when Hazza did say we stole one of their players. Paradox in these result have also stolen another player from another roster who was in LPL. So it will be really interesting to see as I've gone all robotic, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll fix that in a second. But regardless, it should be a good one. This is a very much a 50-50 matchup, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to throw at us.
All right, well, while Conky figures out his roboticism, I guess, we'll take a look at the first team breakdown, and let's see all these roster changes. Komodo, take us through VERTEX.
Yep, so this isn't the roster with the change up, of course, but we are very familiar with these lovable faces now. It's Brace, Addict, PZ, Replico, and Tensei. Of course, Brace, he's going to be the brains of the Operation PZ on that AWP. And the rest of the boys looking for the rifles, looking for the flanks, and the entries.
Replico looking smooth there. I love how these pictures are coming through every week. We get more and more of them. And then looking into our next team as well, Paradox with our team breaks off down. I'll lead this one as well.
Here we go. Beautiful. So there's the additional man. It is Zilla. And obviously it's not uncommon knowledge, I suppose you could say. He's slotted into the roster very, very nicely. He's been putting up some good results. But aside from that, the usuals. Badonka, Danger, Ekel, Herbs. And after chatting with Ekel recently, I know that they're putting in the hard yards and really, really trying to work through this roster. And I know that, you know, they built it up from sort of the back end of maybe even the top 20 to where they're starting to contest that top 5. So very well done for encouraging some longevity. And I hope they do well tonight.
Absolutely. We'll see how the new roster comes together. Let's take a look at the key players, the ones to watch for this match. It is Brace on Vertex and Badonka on Paradox. Kumoto, what do we think of that head-to-head?
Two players starting with B because they are the brains on these rosters. Both of them are the IGLs here, of course. Badonka is very wise with his words. Of course, we already know he's the only player that can levitate on the side of a Paradox. And Brace, man, when I think of Brace, one thing that comes to my mind is the Molotov that he threw on Dust 2 way back when and pushed up tunnels and got like 3 kills or something. I remember pointing it out and everything, but yeah, really going to be looking towards these teams for, I guess, how they're going to divert their teams tonight. But it's also, you know, Badonka can be one of those leaders where he won't micro everything. He can let some free reign happen. And I guess the same can Brace. So it's going to be interesting to see the matchup between them. Ultimately, I'm just captivated by Conky's pixel camera.
Very, very high quality, high resolution.
That's top level production there from you, Conky. Thanks for that. It will be interesting to see how this comes through because it is a high pressure match and the decision makers are in the spotlight. But before we get into them, let's take a look at what Vertex had to say about the match.
Paradox are a good team. We've always had close games against them. We actually beat them, I think, 3 nights ago. In a best of 3, we beat them 2-1. And first game went to OT, second game was 16-14. Third game, we stomped them. We want to make it clean against them this time. We know we can beat them. We did it 3 nights ago. We showed that we can. We showed that we can punish their aggressions like that they're really good at. They'll be a lot harder than Integral Nation, but we're looking to punish all their aggression, just like shut them down early. So the thing with them, they're supposed to be like one of the best Mirage teams in Australia. People are catching on to how they're playing, maybe now, or people are getting better themselves. It just really depends. They're definitely a good Mirage team. They've had some rough couple of games recently. They have very good upset potential. Like, they've beaten a lot of good teams. So they are a team to be respected, but we know the style that they play. I don't see it changing. So we're pretty confident going into it. We know what to expect when we invest in Paradox. So if you can shut down pretty much just the raw firepower of that team, you can shut that down, you can win pretty easily. That being said, it's not an easy thing to do. Like I said, we proved we can beat them last time. There won't be like any nerves or anything versus them this time. We're just gonna go in there and just look to dominate them.
Them's are fighting words. We're just gonna go in there and look to dominate them.
Yeah, well, I've actually just pulled up the stats of their previous endeavor. It was 2-1 to Vertex, and you're looking at that OT 19-16. Mirage, the second map was played 16-14, and then it was a 16-4 in the third one. So
wow, there you go.
I guess it's going to be quite interesting in the matchup tonight, and kind of thinking that I like the maps that we saw in that one.
Well, I don't think we've had a look at the maps yet. I'm still interested to see what we are going to have come out tonight. But before we do that, we also heard from Paradox, and so let's see what they have to say coming into this match.
In our game against Chiefs last week, we definitely threw a lot of mid and late round situations. We got early picks, we got ourselves into good spots, we'd group up, and then we'd choke. So basically, every mid to late round situation went badly for us, more or less. It took too long to get going, and we choked a lot of favorable situations on Mirage. So they just played better than us on the day, and we lost. Got to focus on keeping our composure. That's a big issue for us. Like, we get into favorable spots, or we get into like tense situations that have a lot of quick trades going on, and we kind of just try and force the issue, close the round really, really quickly, and it ends up panicking, and it just turns into a mess. If we just took our time, thought about what we were doing, it'd end up a lot cleaner, and we would probably just convert a lot more rounds. So I think going into the Vertex game, we just need to focus on staying calm, keeping composed, and we should be able to win, hopefully.
Look, I'm really interested.
I just want to say, did you guys hear that? Both Ruffleco and Badonka gave us a serious interview. I can't believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I wanted to follow up on that, actually, because they gave us interesting points this time to talk about. Was that Badalka said,
definitely.
you know, this match for him is about keeping that composure. And you touched on that just before we actually went to the interviews. And they are, you know, we're looking at them in the head-to-head. You know, this being an elimination match, how serious, you know, do you think it is that that's going to be the win condition for both of these teams, Conky?
Yeah, both of these teams need to go in with like the pressure sort of taken away. You know, obviously it's always going to be riding in the back of your head, but for both of these teams who do rely on sort of that like hype and momentum and stuff like that, I think they do need to sort of keep a bit more of a level head and make sure that if they take a few hits in a couple of rounds, or maybe, for example, give up a map, they can't let that break them and they need to just keep focused. But look, for, you know, I think it's going to be probably a little bit of a bigger hurt for Paradox if they lose this one, given they were the runner-ups in the last season. Whereas VERTEX, you know, every single competition they've been going in lately, they've been going a little bit better, a little bit further. You know, they've just been improving as time goes on. And I truly think if, you know, and that noting, Ruffleco did not take an offer, which I won't disclose, but because he sees out the longevity of this team. So they're working hard, they're getting the job done. And I think that I really respect that.
Yeah, fantastic. And let's take a look at the map vetoes there. We do have VERTEX coming out first on Overpass, Paradox on Mirage. I don't think there's any surprises there, with Dust 2 being the decider. Now, Komodo, Conky just talked a little bit about the first map being very important, it being VERTEX's map on Overpass. You know, what do you think we're going to see as we go into this first map?
Yeah, well, as I touched upon before, I'd be interested to see if it was the same maps as last time. And technically it is, you know, it was Overpass and Mirage between these two teams. It was actually Inferno instead of Dust 2. Paradox had that choice back then, and they went with Inferno. Didn't work their way. So if they've gone to Dust 2 here, hopefully this one does for them, because, as you said, elimination match. But if we align things up between, is it going to be a 2-0? Is it going to be a 2-1? I said at the start of the show, it's probably going to look to be a 2-1 for both of them tonight. Bit of a different storyline being told in the first one, but definitely do see once again that it could be a 2-1 between these two teams, specifically as they've just played each other against these maps, knowing that they'd come to face each other again in LPL. There can be a lot of counter rotations and counter plays coming out from what they figured out last time.
No, that's an interesting point. And look, just talking about, or moving over to the fact that Paradox have just come down from the top bracket, I guess, against Chiefs. You know, do you think that from a tournament structure point of view, I guess, Conky, do you think that was an advantage for Paradox to be playing against those, I'm not going to say higher tier teams, but the teams who have been more successful in tournaments so far and maybe having that higher level of gameplay coming in against VERTEX?
Yes and no. I think Paradox is sort of starting to get used to playing against the really, really good teams now, and that's obviously something that was mentioned by Ruffleco in his interview. Paradox are very, very used to being in sort of those, you know, top echelon competitions. They have been for quite some time, whereas now VERTEX, they're only just starting to feel their way into that. So again, you know, the more and more they learn, the more and more they improve, that's when they're really going to put on the pressure. So I think Paradox are going to sort of be sitting here sweating a little bit, going, you know, we need to win this, whereas with VERTEX, they're just going to be laughing to the bank, happy. But I think they're going to be taking this one very seriously and seeing what they can do.
Fantastic. Well, we've heard from the players. We've run through the analytics. Now let's head into the map and see how it all unfolds. This is VERTEX versus Paradox, Game 1. Take it away.
You know what I find funny, Mitch?
Hit me with it.
Zilla was poached from Mako, and then Paradox beat Mako in a 2-1 straight after it.
Yeah, pretty much straight away. The second it happened, and look, I'm stoked with that at the end of the day. It's really, really cool to see that a teammate can come in from a different spot and actually do quite well, because, you know, in this region, a lot of the time we see sort of things happening as like pillages, right? You know, a player gets taken and the roster's like never the same again. Whereas all of these changes, I think, you know, Mako might slip a little bit, but at the end of the day, you know, they can sort of rebuild and recover. Whereas I don't think Paradox or Avant are really lacking or anything like that. Right now. So I think, you know, as we heard from Hazza, Avant will continue to sort of restructure and work on their roster as it goes. I'm glad that they took a risk on a newer player. You know, I'm really happy that Avant have made a decision like that. They did it with, of course, Hazza after he showed his strengths in some other rosters. But look, you know, time will tell. Let's see how it goes. But we are now into Paradox versus VERTEX. The opening map is Overpass, and this is your second elimination match of Week 5, night number 1, and Ecarl to open up, taking down Addicton Brace with 10 side good for the trade as they rocket up towards this A side.
And fam, will be happy with the outcome of his interviewee choice, but we won't divulge that early. We'll have to wait and see if the winning team wins it. The fan wants there, but what I'm happy about is Vidal's actually gotten these dualies out right now. PZ though, with the fabled P250, is going to catch Herb's danger. A little bit of a leaking into Ruffleco's location, sees him with the edge of the smoke, but soaring through, Ruffleco rips off his head, and it is going to be up to Vidalco on the dualies and the new recruit in Zilla, who does manage to trade it out onto Ruffleco. There is no kit right now. They do have a smoke. They have to get into it for this defuse, but Tensai finds Vidalco, looking to close it out onto Zilla as well. All PZ needs to do is hide, but his position was known earlier, and that's it. He's going to find the kit, try to smoke it, and he has to stick it right now. He has to get on it.
This.
Will PZ actually see him too? Yeah, he's seen him before the smoke blossom. The pistol round to Vertex and PZ will be blown up with the Bomberino.
Dunsky. Big round for Vertex to open up. Obviously very, very tight to go down to the 1 versus 1, but PZ good to keep his cool. And I think that's going to be the definitely the key word of today, or the key phrase of the afternoon, keeping their cool, especially does start to move towards summer. Can't believe how quickly this year has gone. We've booked our Christmas party. That's how crazy this even goes. But anyway, hopefully that Melbourne will be able to have some Christmas parties soon. It does sound like potentially, given the COVID is exiting. Yeah, well, hey, look, hopefully cafes next week, man. We'll see.
Dude,
we'll see.
All I'm pogging out is everybody knows I'm a coffee fiend. I want one. I've just emptied my Red Bull can, so thirsty again.
Beautiful. But yeah, so time will tell to see how this matchup does go, of course. It's been definitely like one of the ones that I've been really excited for. I mean, tomorrow's game will be really, really cool too in Rooster versus Chiefs, of course. You know, both those teams have been doing excellently. I potentially think that the winner of the whole competition could find themselves in that match. So we'll see. Definitely at the moment, sort of the favorites being Chiefs, Rooster and Avant maybe. But no, look, you know, I've been proud of both of these teams and how they've been going. Paradox have been putting up some good results, but at the exact same merit, you know, Vertex, they've been on the up and comer. They've definitely been putting in some serious work of, I guess, learning each other's ability set and cracking in the right way and developing as players. So they found a second round here, most likely. It looks like Paradox are definitely going to go for this save, but yeah, should be 2 and potentially 3 here.
I've just peeked in towards the A side as well to see for some information, and without getting anything. It's a bit unfortunate for Paradox, of course, here. You know, they've invested into this second round, as people usually do these days on the CT side if you lose it out. But look, what they come away with is a scout, the UMP, and the Galil that they've stolen away from Tensai. So I guess they'll try to redo what they did in this one. Eco and Herbs to cop a little bit of an eco, as they do want to get that AWP out nice and early in this game. Of course, an AWP on the map here of Overpasses are just witnessing PC's little surfing. It can ride the waves, you know. PC's going to pick up that AWP, and Eco's going to as well. So it's really going to be one of those things that we will hope to see come out with a big boom.
The big boy boom is hopefully what we will be witnessing when it does come up. It will be another couple of rounds away. He's just going to keep holding on to that to the Galil. Mac 10 for Brace. The rest of the members. Attic does have the AK. Obviously did have to reinvest. Eco going for the mid peak. Will be flashed up, but Brace happy to walk away for the time being. Looks like Herbs and Danger going to be locking down that B bomb site. Danger will be the key factor here. Obviously still holding on to that Galil from the previous round, whereas unfortunately Herbs has nothing really to work with. But still, look, Paradox, you know, they can definitely do a little bit of damage onto the side of Vertex, which is all you can really sort of hope for in a round like this, unless you pull off something incredible, which is usually attributed to a big mistake found by the opposing side. So Rufflecoat just sort of playing with his food right now, making sure that the B-side members are stuck there as they do set up for the execute. Zilla's given away some information, going to be heading down to try and stop out Brace. But now they will start to crumble up. There we go, Rufflecoat holding the line. Addict able to find one onto Danger, but Zilla's got one straight on back. Not going to be able to pick up any additional weaponry, and that might actually be on the save for him. The bomb will be planted. It's a 4-on-3, and this is definitely going to be a round for Vertex. Very well done. It's going to be down into the Thunderdome, into the next, as we likely will see the AWP come up for Ecal. But yeah, pressure's on now.
Pressure certainly is on indeed. Ruffle Addict quite low, but PZ will rip the head off of Badonka, and well, Philip, he's just going to hold out here outside Monster and see if he can retrieve a weapon. Ruffleco will overlook his position. Vertex probably at a point where they could justify going for the hunt as well, make sure the weapon is out of his hands. The CTs are going to have a purchase coming into this next round, and Ekal, he should be able to get an AWP into his hands. Whether or not Zilla will drop him over one, I would expect so, and there you go. That is going to come into fruition. So 3-0 for Vertex on this T side is very well to start off, right? It's T side in any map is good to start off with, but they need to continue on with this, because if they get in Paradox's heads, that's where they'll be able to run with it. You know, last time they faced here, it went to overtime. That's what these teams are trying to do. They're trying to win in regulation, trying to put a statement into this best of three to continue on and run that gauntlet.
Badonka trying to hold down that. Oh, look at that peak. That is beautiful. Barely any damage dealt as well. You know, Badonka was certainly on for that line, but now they've walked into the crosshair of Ekal, and that can be a scary, scary scope to be dealing with. Brace is going to get the flashbang down and does head up towards Party. PZ gets another one. That's a second in the round, and we've already seen a member just outside Divider looking to peek on in, but Ekal holding his line as composed as possible. Looks like there will be some warning shots sent up short. Danger's not going to be burned away by that molly, so well done there. Ekal, though, hasn't moved an inch right now, and I'm just realizing as well, PZ currently 7-0. 50 seconds remain. They haven't really made up a whole lot of ground. Zilla is definitely toying with the idea, but now Danger, he peeks up. Yeah, kind of playing with fate a little bit there, definitely testing the waters. Tensai is going to be able to find off Danger. And now they've actually completely left Ekal, so it's just the one member being Zilla, the newest member of Paradox. Can he lock it down? The answer is no. It's going to be Tensai, and that should surely be a save call for Luke immediately.
Yeah, nah, 100%. He wants to take that AWP into the next round. Vertex, they're just realizing off the back of the mid-round information and what they've done in the past against Paradox and how to capitalize and how to find out these rounds. And this is where, you know, Vertex will definitely try to get in towards Paradox's heads. If they can continue to do this, it could ultimately be a massive shutdown. Of course, this here being the map pick of Vertex, they just really want to start off, you know, flawlessly, flourishing, and they kind of do that. They've shut down the big first purchase of Paradox, only leading Ekal to survive with his AWP. And you also think about things, how kind of, I guess, maybe rare or not often do you see the T side be able to still pull out an AWP at the same time the CTs do?
Exactly right. But Vertex have been doing so well to keep their money up, and that's the main thing, right? You know, PZ yet to die. They've managed to do some damage, but you see every single member, aside from Addict, above that sort of 2.5K mark, everyone's sort of in a comfortable position, you know, to afford themselves maybe 2 to 3 more buys. And Ekal, he's going to go straight for the aggressive peek up mid on the other side of a flashbang. And Rufflecoat, he's happy to sit inside the playground. Definitely playing it a little bit more of a passive route. Ekal's aware of the prospect, but now he does choose to fall away. But it's obviously very, very important that the team does play around Ekal as best as possible, whilst he does have that AWP saved over. But whatever Vertex are doing right now, it looks like they're not making a whole bunch of mistakes. You know, they seem very aware of the playstyle that Paradox throw at them. They've clearly done their research, and this is always good to know. As we said, obviously for the first time recently, Vertex has actually managed to beat out Paradox in a best of 3 for the IEM Beijing Hainan qualifiers. We believe that Paradox, I think they've qualified as well already, which is good, but very, very cool to see that, you know, Vertex is going to be in a top 8 competition this time soon.
Was it the Beijing one, or was it the DreamHack Winter? I think
it was a DreamHack. Could have been DreamHack.
It was DreamHack Winter.
Could have been
DreamHack.
DreamHack.
It was DreamHack Winter, yeah.
Cool.
Either way.
Very good.
Good outcome and a good event to get yourself into, none the less. But this is a better form to come through from Paradox. They opted for a bit of an eco on the rest of the bodies, but Ruffleco to start to bring it back. The AWP's down. Zilla to contribute into the factor and inform a headshot to back it up. PZ gets caught out of the trade, and Zilla finds 3 in the round. A bit of an eco behind the AWP, where the AWP wasn't really needed. It wasn't required from Ekal. Teabag to back it up from Zilla. That's a round on the board for Paradox, and Vertex most likely here whipping out a pause.
Zilla the killer, apparently, with that deagle. Very nicely done to solidify 3. He's got more kills than everyone else on his team combined right now. And I mean, look, they've only got one round. Fair enough. There's plenty of time left. But yeah, well done, because that recovery means that now Paradox, not only get a full buy off the back of it, at least they can breathe a little deeper into the next couple. So very, very nice. He also, I just cannot stop laughing. I just saw a HLTV comment that says, Badonka looks like he gives away Reddit gold on Thursdays. And that is actually hilarious. But anyway. Tipping's. Okay, I need to stop. Anyway,
he's gonna get lost.
Very well done. Very well. Yeah, no, I will. You guys know me. Very well done from Paradox to claw their way back into that one. Zilla's obviously going to have not pressure on himself, because I certainly think he's a well and truly equipped player. He proved that in his time in Mako. Definitely one of the best players on that roster. So Paradox, I don't feel like are at any loss. They've actually come out pretty well.
Zilla was one of those players that we've already mentioned throughout this LPL series that, we mentioned his sharpness and his bright future, I guess you'd say. So it's really good to see him be brought into this Paradox roster to be tossed, I guess, a little bit behind the experience of Badonka and maybe the, I guess you could say English experience of ECOL as well.
Definitely. Definitely. It was funny. I was just thinking about it, right? Zilla's probably just gone, hey guys, can I join your team? I got kicked out of LPL already because Mako lost, and now Zilla's still able to play on a different team. Love to see it.
Cord lock, yeah. Oh. Well, 1 out. 3 versus 3, but Tensai rips Zilla's head off, and that's going to be the immediate rotation for Paradox up to A. They want to go for this. They've got a little bit of utility denial of that bomb to go down, but no flashes, no smokes. They're going to have to find all the players. HE grenade to be lobbed over to Tensai. Well, taking down a half HP. The second one, though, the timing was a miss. Quite unfortunate, because if they threw them at the same time, that would have been the bomb down. No plan. So into it. Tensai is bleeding, no bandage to wrap him up right now. Danger starting to prod in through towards Bank, trying to get some extra money into his pockets. PZ will hold that line, and I think with the time ticking away, only the single kit, no utility. Paradox, they're probably just going to look to save it, and they are going to retreat indeed.
Well, VERTEX have looked very, very dominant, and I mean, look, it's a very good opportunity for them to take this lead in the series early. Their map pick, Overpass, they're very, very good, and by all means, Paradox aren't bad at this map. I just think that, in future, teams are probably going to start to have to maybe feel a little bit comfortable on their permaban and maybe start actually looking to ban out Overpass against VERTEX. I mean, when you're a Renegades, Order, Avant, whatever, you're probably not going to need to ban a map like that against them. But some of these other teams that are a bit more evenly matched, I would say, with VERTEX, may need to start to consider it, because they've been looking really, really good on this map, very much so. Oh, actually, I'm a goddamn liar. I just realized, hang on. VERTEX, okay, Paradox beat VERTEX on Overpass in that series. But they beat them in Perfect World on that map. Okay. All right, interesting. Okay. Maybe times are changing, clock's ticking.
We're just kind of waiting out and seeing what would be happening in the beginning stages of this round, leading it up to everybody's own minds to figure things out. But it is, of course, PZ finding the first kill into Badonka, picking up through long, and there hasn't been any trades. Tensai's pushed up through towards short, which it kind of looked like Paradox were aware of, but ECOL, he has to be locked and loaded. He will manage to find Brace. No trade to come out just yet, but Tensai, this is his time to peek in through towards the side. Zilla's making a loud amount of footsteps. Tensai finds Herbs. No trade just yet, but there it is, starting to happen. But if these trades keep going the way they are, I mean, VERTEX, they'll find the kill and make it 1-0 before that trade can happen. ECOL.
Oh no!
Oh no! Compute, but it doesn't connect. That is so unfortunate. And there's no HE grenade to finish him off either. There's no use kill. So straight through the smoke, Danger goes. He gets traded on through, and it's all going to be down to the new recruit in Zilla to try and clutch out this round. Should know that the leg did come out on the Ruffleco, but Addict with full HP was aware, and he will find him. What an unfortunate situation, though, for ECOL.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. You know, a no-scope at that distance, it's weird, right? Like, the gun will shoot all the way across the map, but you shoot an AWP shot straight into the body, like, at a centimeter away, and it just they can run around and be fine. It's beyond me. But regardless, look, very well done from Ruffleco. He was in a position where he was ready to trade anyway, or ready to be traded, rather. So They've had a good start. Zilla's gone for the scout this time round. We'll actually find the leg shot onto PZ. So some early damage expended. The rest of the roster, they've got the Deagles, the CZs, ready to work with. Cheeky little nade as well to go along with it. Great pick there from Addict onto Badonka. Eco ready to swing in for it. PZ though, oh, spotted, great shot. Eco even going for some further play as well. Addict, all damage dealt. Eco doesn't even have any Kevlar to back it up, and he's still going for it because the main thing is he kills Addict. He has an AWP, but Ruffleco's going to be joining him. They're going to slowly start to cruise on out now. Eco's actually gone for the reposition as well. Nobody's timed him. Ruffleco's going to send the AWP out, which is very, very smart play to make. But whether or not Ruffleco will actually clear this line, or will Eco walk straight into it? He will. Okay. Good play. Very, very smart from Ruffleco to wait that one out patiently. Now it's back to a 3-on-3.
Yeah, we haven't seen Brace be contributing into that scoreboard just yet, but you would expect him to be paving the way for his teammates, of course. Already seen PZ find double digits, and just notice Herbs is still sitting on 0 as well. So we'll wait and see what's going to happen. 30 seconds into the B-bomb site, we know it is going to line up for, and with a couple of flashbangs from Addict, he can look to play the passive nature as his HP is on the opposite scale. He does have the bomb in hand right now too, but they're wasting a god-awful amount of time. The gamble for Paradox is up on that A site, just leading Danger to play from short water afar. Vertex, if they had any pressure on the site right now, Addict could potentially lose his life, and that's the round. That would have been it. If there was even just a HG grenade from Paradox, that would have been it. The bomb.
Oh, hang on.
Wait, hang on. He hasn't played it.
Oh,
that had to be
tight.
a millisecond.
That is very, very tight. I'm wondering what Addict was doing. And the funniest thing is the Vertex boys are probably just giggling right now about there is an opportunity, a time. Herbs, the spot out. Oh, you're joking me. How does Addict even find that? He's found 2 on 7 points of HP. That's a 3k now. And Danger's all alone in a 1 versus 3. Braces to a swing up short. And Vertex are here 7-1. And out of all people, Zilla is far on top. Herbs yet to strike. Badonka's been quiet. Where's the Badonka that just runs at people?
Yeah, that's left on Inferno, I do believe. On Overpass, not really here. No, I'm kind of surprised actually that Vertex in that round left the bomb to go down literally to the last millisecond. If they didn't get it down, I kind of would have lost it. Yeah. More than I already am.
That's when a question mark just comes up in the chat.
Yeah, no, literally, it's like, what were you doing? You just lost track of time? You know, you handed in your assignment late. Dog ate it.
Well, there's Eco finding the opening pick onto Brace, the IGL big brain exploding. Tensai going for that slow little lurk. Herbs again. He has struggled, but he's got the AWP here, and in this line, it actually... Oh, that is brutal. That's the classic. You've got a scoped weapon holding down a position, and someone walks into your crosshair and rips your head off. But look, you know, when you're versing Tensai, that's something that you've got to be used to. It's something that I've experienced plenty of times over the years. Guy's incredibly sharp. But a 4 versus 4, minute left on the clock. Definitely looks like they are going to be heading towards B, and I do like this lockdown that Zilla and Danger have. Smoke is just about to fade. A great flash in, a great flash in. Beautiful stuff here. Tensai on 3. And if you Paradox, not only are you sort of crying, you're also saving. So Vertex, that's going to be 8 rounds, and Paradox are just left guessing. It's been pretty much all the action towards this B side as well, hasn't it?
Nah, definitely has. I think we've only seen, 2 rounds over towards A, if I'm calculating right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at this point in time, it's Paradox that has to keep track of that more than I do right now, because they're the ones that are playing right now. They're the ones that are facing elimination. And Vertex have just been kicking up. They've just been, you know, getting everything done when needs, surviving with a lot of players to back it up as well. And what can only be described as maybe a little bit of destruction to start things off, and whether it's they've, you know, tried to counter out all the information that they found in the mid rounds and on the back of the previous battles in best of 3s that they've played against Paradox, or, you know, whether or not it's just them kind of saying we're more fired up right now than they are. We're just hitting all our headshots. We're just finding everything that's necessary. You know, you never really know. But for Vertex and for Vertex fans out there, this is what you want to see.
I'm a Vertex fan, but I'm also a Paradox fan. So right now I'm a little bit torn, and unfortunately, no biased casting can come through here. Oh, nerd. Can't play with him. Too hard. Doesn't com. Too hard. At least he can clip frags. That's what I appreciate. Clipping frags that Luke can secure. Good opening pick by Ecol there onto Brace. Great start in the round for Paradox again. You know, I feel like it has really just been the Zilla and Ecol show. And unfortunately, that show hasn't been too popular either. You know, VERTEX have been doing really, really well as a 5 to sort of dismantle the defense of Paradox time and time again. And despite the fact Ecol is actually able to find that opening pick, he's got back to the A side. If he doesn't spot his angles correctly, he could just, you know, be immediately pulled off those lines. Now with the utility set starting to head up towards A, Tensai's been able to clear some things, but Ecol just holding that tight line. I do believe he's actually still solo on A as well, which is always a little bit rough to experience. Do have the one member up long. That's going to be Rothfelko. He's yet to sort of press the narrative so far. Ecol might be able to get a Molotov down, but doesn't really want to give away his position either. The smoke grenade not exactly deep enough. And look at Tensai's control already. Footsteps surely would have been heard. Another smoke to go down, but it's a 5 versus 4. How do Paradox approach this?
Carefully, even at a disadvantage, they need to do it carefully. They're all kind of going in from the exact same location, bar a little bit of a wall between them, in through bank, in through jump up. But Badonka, he can smoke out the bomb and they can put somebody on it. They can try to just stick it willy-nilly, and they're going to look to do so. Everybody's trying to cover Badonka in the carnage, and they will successfully do so. Ecol, he was already low from the beginning of the round, so count that out. They only lose 2 in the process, so it is a good round to convert for Paradox. But you look at it, it was only when push came to shove, really. They'd already conceded control of A. They had to get it in a retake, which admittedly is a very viable strategy. There is definitely money in the back pocket for VERTEX, and if they realize that Paradox's only way in is to, you know, play it in the retakes, they're going to act accordingly. They're going to change up their play style, and that's what we come to know from teams in Counter-Strike. You know, when things go awry, they change up their play style because they want to provide their best showings in these games, especially tenfold because elimination.
Absolutely. Elimination station. And again, if you're Paradox, you'd definitely be hurting going out in a series like this. And especially to me, you know, since they have been such a good roster as of late. You know, they've not been super inconsistent or anything. They've had, you know, their lows, of course, but so does everyone, right? They've mainly had a pretty solid run, you know, for the most part. A team that's regularly improving. But it's proven that now VERTEX are the exact same. They are just every single matchup. Just, you can tell they're just learning, developing, understanding each other's weaks and strengths. You know, it's really, really nice to watch as a commentator and also a friend. So things go well for both of these teams, and I'm going to be sad to see any one of them go. But look, I know that Paradox have got it in them. They just need to lock down this B side a little bit better. Herbs has been struggling. Maybe need to send him a little bit of help, maybe a little bit of support. Change some things up if they're not working. But a minute 10 left on the clock. Definitely looks like VERTEX is going to be heading their way, and that's a good Molotov from Herbs. They're going to have to run straight through that, and he's straight out. No, the opening. There it is. Good start. Herbs now on the board. Able to do some further damage. He's locking it down well. But Rothfelko up out of nowhere. But someone also having a bit of a quiet one is Badonka, and he's been able to find something back. Now Addict slowly making his way through Connector, but apparently Ecol can hit a no-scope all of a sudden, and there we go. Much cleaner round. Paradox well and truly ahead of the curve, and whatever the call was there in that situation, it was a round-winning success.
Round winning indeed, but it still kind of is the Ecol and Zilla show. You look at that scoreboard in that round, Herbs, of course, helping out the factor for Paradox, finding those 2, but now, I mean, VERTEX, they've technically already won the half, but you look at the money situation. They've gone for a bit of an eco right now. 1 round, or 2 rather, is all it takes for Paradox to start to have an impact on that economy, and that's Counter-Strike for you, though.
Oh no, the fire.
Smoke on the fire, but VERTEX, they're still holding W. This is what Conky was waiting for Badonka, essentially, but it's down to all of the VERTEX members. Badonka, he gets his head ripped on off. Ecol, no scope. Only good for 1. Addict timing in through, and, well, the pressure is going to build up on this A side. Is this a round where VERTEX can claim it off an eco? Danger and Zilla, they want to say no.
So they're running it out, heading back towards that B site, and it looks like they actually might be able to find something. It looks like all 3 members of Paradox are still waiting. I mean, they might be able to stop something on towards this site, but the main thing is all Brace. If Brace takes some further control here, this actually could be a round lost. I mean, he's got no Kevlar. He has to hide. He has to wait patiently. And pretty much all Ruffleco can try to do here is try and at least make some sound, keep the attention at a positive for Paradox. And they're looking for it 100%. And, oh, Brace, no. The timing will not be found. Ruffleco makes it a little bit scary. Does fine too, but luckily Zilla able to hold on to it. There's the choke. Almost. Well, hey, you're thinking the Paradox are almost the one that choked there.
Yeah.
But Zilla, okay, he's coming straight out firing with his BM. Vertex has won the half, but at least Paradox are bringing it back.
Yeah, well, he's equal in the kill department, the kill lead. We have a three-way tie in that factor. Ruffleco, Ekal, and Zilla there. Of course, as you do mention, Conky, Vertex leading the charge, and their rounds go down to the wire. That was a half buy. It was Tech 9s essentially only from the side of Vertex, which is actually kind of interesting because it's been a while since, you know, the old Tech 9 rushes come on through with that gun being nerfed into oblivion and then being brought back a little bit. But I digress. Point being, Paradox is starting to get something happening on this CT side. They're starting to wake up. They're starting to run after walking. And if they can continue to convert these rounds, if they can continue to gain them and not lose too many of their bodies, that they can, you know, stabilize that economy coming into the last 3 rounds of this half, they could make it a 7-8 scoreline.
Definitely could. Definitely could. Putting the pressure on. Paradox do start to sort of slip their way back in. Definitely can start to make Vertex sweat a little bit. And this is what we mean, right? You know, there was always a 50-50 sort of 50-50 battle between these two teams right now. And obviously the pressure amounts, knowing that one of these two teams will be going home, the winner, to face off against Avant. And that will not be an easy feat either. Vertex have already felt the pressure put upon them by Avant. And that was a full Avant roster, though. Keep that in mind. A crushing defeat they felt. It was what, 16-4, 16-5 or something. But look, you know, when you're a team still learning and growing like Vertex, going against players that have pretty much all got international experience, it's always going to be a bit of a challenge. But time will tell. Zilla up in close. He does turn from the flash, and oh my word! Zilla, right amount of timing, using the flash of the teammate to his advantage. Ruffleco does go down alongside Tensite. Now PZ smoked off the bomb. Zilla's going back in for it. PZ has walked in. He goes for the rogue spray. PZ might be able to find it back. Covers another AK. Doesn't hit any of these shots, but it's all onto Addict and PZ. Addict does look to reposition. Zilla maybe jumping around like he's got too many ants in his pants right now. He's actually going to start to try and get back to the site, but he does strike, finding the shot. Now PZ will look to peek into him, but he does find the shot. Now it's a 1 versus 3 after it was a 1 versus 4. PZ, we've seen him win these rounds of plenty, but he has to try and find the frag on the way up. Danger. Oh, danger. You don't want to be peeking that, sunshine. PZ gets the plant, but look at the movement and look at the positioning already. Ekal to hold the line. And I certainly got a little bit scared. I felt like PZ might have been able to win that one out, but no, it will be Paradox. Holding on to another orb, saving a second one over. Herbs knows to get it after, and there we go. Double orb, 5th round, and we move on into the 13th.
Into the 13th indeed, and the funds do provide Vertex another purchase to come through. PZ could go for a naught, but the saved play, the better play, I guess you could argue, is to go just onto that AK. And Brace getting a Mac 10 might suggest to me that they want to change something up. They want to send in him potentially for some information, try to see what they can work out, because, you know, in that kill department, Brace is, he's had a little bit of a quiet one. He's been punished time and time again, and look at this. They're just holding W straight in towards the B side. Zilla's going to drop some flames and try and retreat. They're going to run through them. Danger over at Bridge. He finds 2 with the A1S, has to cop down a reload. Herbs is going to be here to punish as well, and this rush is falling apart for Vertex. A HE grenade over to Brace does top him down to 2. Well, now 0 is cleaned up and still loses his life as well. A very clean, flawless round for a Paradox, not letting Vertex just out at all.
Well, can we get the scoreboard for a sec, Toby? Because I think there's been a little bit of an interesting one as it sort of stands at the moment, right? We have had, obviously, 8-1 was the scoreline, with Vertex only having that 1 round in the middle picked up by Paradox, but now it's been 5 consecutive. And sure, you know, we're seeing the plan come in regularly for Vertex, and Paradox have been having to retake for the most part, which is a good sign for Vertex, but the money they've got now is barely anything. You know, they've had to go for the Galils. They've... oh, Jesus. I almost died just then. Incredible. But yeah, stuck back onto the Galils, only a little bit of utility to work with. And Zilla and Danger opening up. So Zilla's actually gone for this secondary op, and the man is having a stellar game. What an opening that he has had so far into this roster.
And as I guess maybe, I wouldn't say predicted or expected, but I say hoped to keep the game alive and interesting. Paradox to try and claim their 7th round here. Brace had the opportunity to tip it in the Vertex's favor, but now that's lost out. It's all on to Addict, the WA gamer that Conky has played LAN with, against something. My mind escapes me. Correct me. Addict. You played with or against him?
No,
right,
he's New
LAN?
Zealand, brother. No.
Is he? I thought he was in WA.
Addict's...
Who am I mistaken for?
Lays, probably.
Lays?
Lays, WA, young, sharp, land with me.
Yeah, but potentially.
Anywho, Addict, he's the young Kiwi prodigy that basically, like, I think it was Ruffleco and Falcon mainly that just could not stop talking him up. He was like this god that they'd found, pulled him from like a lesser experienced team, and ever since he's come along, he's doing really well. So I'm proud of how Addict has been going so far. It will be a very... Oh, Brace, I just realized 1-12. Sorry to pull that one up on you, buddy, but never mind. You know, Vertex, they win at the half. Paradox can continue to apply pressure. They've won 6 of the last 7 rounds, and look, it's been really nice to see them bring this one back really solid. So very nicely done from Paradox to at least bring the half in play. But now it's going to determine whether or not they've got the composure to really bring it through in a strong way when they move now on into this T site.
Well, that is my mistake on Addict. Things you learn. Something new every day. There we go. Wouldn't have too far to travel to LAN if it permitted it then, over in New Zealand. But, of course, for those wondering, we have unfortunately had to put that into an online grand final, which will still be really cool, of course.
I think it'll still be some really good games, hey? Like,
oh, yeah.
Obviously adding in the Chiefs and Avant and stuff like that. Yeah, like Rooster is the best they've ever been right now. I'm just excited. It's going to be a pretty incredible series, and hopefully we do get a few solid games. So obviously for anyone playing along at home, Chiefs and Rooster play against each other tomorrow night, where that will determine obviously the first team to go into the grand final, where they do have a 1-map advantage in the best of 5. But Zilla, he's picked up 2, which has allowed Paradox to get their way onto the site. And now it is going to be that retake. Ecol is there up on the truck, sitting at Optimus Brace, looking to toy with whatever he can. That smoke grenade does have a slight one-way onto the jump-up position, the dumpster, but Badonka, he's up close and personal. Also having a very quiet game. How's that? The 2 featured players of our end, the IGLs, are having the slow ones.
Yeah, no, well, Paradox have a bit of a fast one in this round, unless Tensai has something to say, only good for 1 in the end. We're tied up. It was a collection of rounds for Paradox that they found, and now they've been able to equalize 8-8. Elimination on the line, and it's another pause to come through. We've had a lot being brought forward in this series. I think we had maybe like 1 in the first best of 3, I think, but the pause are there. They can definitely use them, and Zilla's already found 20 kills on that scoreboard. Oof, very large, very handsome.
Look, all I'm saying is apparently Zilla and Ecol have been doing some deadlifting lately, because they are picking up some heavy weight for the rest of the team. Or at least Herbs and Badonka. But look, hey, at the end of the day, guys, you know what? It's a bloody team game. So sometimes this is what happens, you know. Quite regularly, we'll see all of these players have a relatively even scoreline, depending on their role, depending on their positioning, whatever you want to call it. But then sometimes we have the exact same thing. And this is not to mean that this is a bad play. It just means that Paradox of the members being Zilla and Ecol have been picking up where the rest of the team haven't. So they've had a pretty solid run here so far, Zilla and Ecol, and hopefully they can continue on, but the rest of the team will likely try and pick up behind them as well. PZ's been the guy that's still doing really well. Ruffleco's having a good one so far, but I do believe there is a cheeky little tactical going on at the moment, so hopefully we shouldn't be too far away.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a bit of a quick one here, but I'm just kind of thinking, you know, it's well, yeah, you had a little bit of a struggle to connect into the game in the beginning as well. But tomorrow's matches, you know, you think about it, Chiefs and Rooster, they already solidified themselves LAN technically, a grand final slot if it would have come to that. But yeah, we wait for that, of course. These teams, you know, they're going to try and vest up against Avant, the winner. We'll see that tomorrow in the, I believe, 2nd slot time.
Yeah. So it's going to be Chiefs and Rooster first, and then the losers bracket. So one more team will go home tomorrow, depending on who it's going to be.
Yeah, well, this game here, this map is becoming quite close, which kind of makes me think, you know, these guys had overtime last time. Is it going to be the same again?
Could very well. You know, this one's coming up really, really close now, obviously. You know, it's 8-8. Paradox have finally brought it into that position where they can start to take over. VERTEX got to be sweating a little bit. Eco's actually gone for the Krieg. Interesting. I guess you can sort of play the distance when you know you're going to be up against an Eco. Of course, they've chosen to force in once more. Roffleco, Addict, Brace, they're going to be holding onto the pistols, whereas PZ and Tensai have gone for the SMG and the Swag. So let's see how this one pays off. Dongra very, very close, but that's a good hold. Might be able to find something else to go along with it. Roffleco, yes he will, but Herbs, good for the trade. So well done to start us off, but look at this. Still got one more member up short. That's going to be Brace. He's going to start to march on in. Might actually catch off Herbs in the process as well, because I've just realized Herbs doesn't have any Kevlar, but in the end, it's going to be Brace heading back towards that site. Still Zilla trying to toy with these members above connector, but no, it's going to be Eco to drop Brace down. PZ and Addict, are they going to be able to do anything here? Zilla's about to start to walk out that door. Might even close the door if he does get the right amount of timing, but unfortunately for PZ and Addict, do they just save or do they try and force their way back into this? Because that bomb still yet to go down. They're still holding onto it in Eco, waiting to see if there's going to be any overextensions.
Well, VERTEX did purchase into this round after dropping the pistol, so of course you'd expect them to kind of go for it. PZ gets taken out. Addicts to get a trade. He can pick up a weapon that's been dropped on the floor, but it's Eco with that Krieg. That's what's going to be a little bit damaging right now. Herbs, of course, down in the armor, and he's the one to take the fight, but Herbs will win it. Addicts not even getting a single point of damage away, unfortunately, with the ump, so that'll be the denial. Paradox to continue on accumulating these rounds, and that'll light up their confidence. That'll give them a flame that they keep burning, because you know they can find double digits. It should be an easy engagement. It should be an easy round for them right now. It's just the USBs. It's a flash for Brace, but I mean technically we can't take that for anything because we have seen a full pistol win tonight already.
I'm liking this play as well, all along the wall, just sort of waiting at each other, talking to see what's going to happen, what's going to come out. And obviously Brace there with the information. He does have the flashbang. He's going to be hearing Zilla run up towards the site. A couple of little warning shots. The rest of the members will be starting to move on up. But Zilla, he might make the call that A is clear. He's starting to walk his way around. There still obviously is long that's not clear. And now Danger surely got to know. Happy to pick up 3 there. One member up short. That's going to be Tensai. You know what he's found? He's found a frag and the bomb for Donka. Going to be looking for him though. That's the challenge. If you don't hit that first shot without Kevlar, a SMG like the MAC-10 can rip through you very, very quickly. So Paradox, they've taken the lead. They've got 2 ahead with 10 rounds, double digits. And yeah, look, Paradox have not really let up ever since VERTEX gave them an opportunity to find their way back into this match.
Yeah, but now is going to really be the turning point and the telling point. If VERTEX can't contribute around to their scoreboard right now, it could be more damaging than ever, because Paradox have had quite a successful run since, you know, they really did get alighted on that CT side. And for right now, I'm still kind of interested that the Krieg is a weapon that actually got purchased. Like, you think about it, how nerfed it did technically get after it was such a, well, broken weapon, I think would be the right word to say here. But regardless, there's a lot of time on the clock to still play within this round. There's only a single kid on the side of VERTEX, and their positionings, you know, it's kind of scattered. It's over to that B site, slightly slanted. You've got Brace just kind of contemplating, do I go back? Do I go forward? Do I stay? What is my team kind of finding out in this mid-round? And Paradox have actually gotten a lot of leeway in towards this A site endeavor that they're trying to poke in towards.
Now the big old green for PZ. Great opening shot there. It actually does somehow miss one of them, and with this one way onto the site, he does actually spot out another. Danger's up in close. I don't know if PZ, oh no, he's missed another shot. That potentially gives him a little bit of extra time to close the gap for PZ. You know, he doesn't miss those shots, finds another, narrowly misses though. I've just jinxed him slightly, but it's okay because he's only been tagged up a little bit. But now with this frag found on the 10 side, look at the position from Herbs. He's already managed to open up a gap in the site. Now rotating down, Roffleco looking to make his way out of maze. Does have Brace there, not too far behind him, but again, Herbs up close and personal. The smoke towards bridge will actually sort of give a little bit of extra space as they move their way now onto the site. Herbs again, still with this control. Danger's been able to get the bomb planted. Brace does find one, but there's Danger now. Good for the trade. It's still going to be hard to lock this down, but Danger swings wide, finds it, but PZ will be able to pick up one more. It's 3 for him, 2 for Brace. And Vertex, they are back into the server, baby.
Full house being flopped on the board. I kind of just wanted to wait to make sure the defuse was there because Brace has been having a little bit of internet issues. Imagine a world where it, like timed him out and the defuse couldn't come through. That would have been a world of hurt. But for right now, they are one shy. It's their first round on the CT side, so hopefully it can kick them into this game. Brace is just going to be on that MP9 kind of again, you know, insinuating they're going to go for some aggression. Is he going to just try to play a close angle and have his teammates to trade or him to trade where need be? PZ is going for this aggression out towards Fountain. The AWP of Eco, it did pick up his head, a little bit of a whack-a-mole, but PZ will look to fall back. Lots of utility to play with in this game so far, but, you know, the amount of rounds the Paradox has been able to find on this T side, has it been enough for Vertex to figure things out? Has it been enough for them to, I guess, at least find 15 that they need to put it into overtime?
Yeah, super important. Pressure just continues to amount for the entirety of this. You know, Paradox, if they get let off the leash once more, that's when they can really start to make Vertex sweat, because, you know, at the back of it, when it's a snowball effect and they continue to stack up the money and get the job done, that's when Vertex sort of has to really string together multiples instead of just finding a round or two here to still be in it to win it. But Paradox, you know, the money is low, but the same could be said to Vertex. Either of the winners of this round will reset the opposing team. And it looks like Vertex are pretty happy to play the passive route towards B, just one up towards Pillar, one up towards the Wood. And with this push in, I think that's from Brace. He's actually sort of walked past Badonka. If he checks back in here, it looks like Badonka's actually aware of it. He spotted him out. Now he should know, be able to find the information man of Brace taken down quickly. And is that going to send any form of rotate away? Looks like Roffelko is going to go for that peek on a Danger. That is actually the bomb dropped as well. They've got all that information. Now they know the bomb will be recovered by Herbs. He jumps onto the other side. Roffelko knows there's a possible prospect of him getting out into that short position. But now Zilla, great flash, forces him off. Roffelko's found another here. He'll be able to pick up some more. Roffelko, not quite. Herbs taken down, but you're exactly right there on the time. All they need to do is stop the plan. And I think Tensai should be able to do that. Yes, he will. Addict there as well. And that is a very, very nice and unstoppable force from Vertex on the B side of Overpass. And now Paradox, they are here with an eco. I mean, look, potentially they could force it, but it's probably not wise. They want to try and save up. Maybe that way Badonka can get the AWP for eco into the next couple of rounds, but they save. They pay the time and pay their respects to Vertex.
Yeah, 2 rounds Vertex have found, and all the damage behind those, or before rather, just the kills that they were able to find is put Paradox onto an eco right now. So it's definitely the territory that Vertex can try to find one round here, potentially the second if they can shut down the purchase again for Paradox. And then we're really starting to talk about a Vertex victory here. But don't say anything until the game has hit 16 in that regulation. Up through towards long, Paradox are running, and Danger's found an opportune piece of timing where he can take PZ's AWP. That smoke is a little bit of an interesting one. I don't know who threw that one. Regardless, the bomb is down and Danger has an AWP.
Very well done here in the end by Danger, but he will go down quickly to Brace this time. Tensai also up close and personal. Roffelko giving him a little bit of support. Now Zilla looking to find something, but Brace will at least be able to find the shot. The bomb will be defused, and all is well in-house Vertex right now. The Wolfpack do get the job done as they hail into the skies. 11 rounds achieved. Victory taken back, or at least the lead in the series so far. So Paradox, they're going to be able to have another buyback. That's what we spoke about. Badonka has dropped over that AWP for eco. And now with this one-round advantage, you know, Paradox, they could really let this slip a little bit, but I think they've got plenty more in the tank to continue out this series in a very, very close fashion.
It's kind of interesting to see Badonka and Herbs having a bit of a quiet one in this one, to be honest with you. It's a bit uncharacteristic, but hopefully if it goes over to Mirage, or when it does go over to Mirage, we can see a little bit of a different outcome for those two specifically. And the whole team as a whole, as it is a team game, still putting up some good numbers. And Roffelko's just taking it upon himself to dilly-dally in towards short water, finding one, narrowly missing out on the second one with no trade to speak of just yet. Herbs will get caught out retreating. Zilla will open the door. Thought he wasn't going to and be more of the cautious side of that play, but he will lose his life. And this is starting to shape up to be another Vertex round. Danger though, Badonka as well. Again, another round that you can't count them out. Tensai is so low. The only real big thing is, their positioning. Vertex can play the 2-2 system. They're going for a boost at the back of the wall next to Graffiti as well. So wait and see if they're going to be able to find anything here. I wonder if Bunker is going to see it. The shadow has been seen from Tensai.
Oh, there you go.
Able to react a little quicker, but maybe 4-3.
Potentially, but Badonka's just completely ripped apart two of these members. Two very, very sharp frags indeed, and that Molotov to afford himself some extra time. He's going to find another here, surely, onto Brace. He is forced away. 13 points of HP, and now Badonka's playing the big brain game. Look at this crossfire. Beautiful. Love to see it. Badonka up tucked nice and close. The flashbang does come over. They start to run out, but danger. Line them up. Addict has at least found one, but now Badonka in a pole position to strike, and he will find an 11th round for Paradox, taking that lead back. Equalizer now, 11-11, make a wish. And there's a pause. Sorry, I jinxed the wish.
I wish for clean, concise Counter-Strike with no pauses needed because everybody's just ripe and ready to keep on plowing. But sometimes internet just says no. This will be the final attack pause to come through from Paradox as they have exercised all of theirs in this map number 1. So wait and see what they're going to try and do. They ultimately win the round in the 2 versus 4, but damage dealt and impact there. Ekal, no AWP to speak of, even down onto a Galil. So a little bit unfortunate in that regard, but then likewise over in Vertex, right? You got Ruffleco on a Famous. Brace has probably got a weapon on the floor, but yeah, it's definitely going to be the, hang on. No, there's no weapon on the floor for him, so he's just got the P250, okay. Very big damage dealt then from Paradox in the last round.
Yeah, obviously the IGL, he hasn't exactly had the most stellar game so far, Brace, but he is going to sit with that pistol, allow the other players to run around with what they can do. Ruffleco, Tensai, Addict, Peasy. Addict has picked up the game a little bit, but it's mainly just been the 3 usuals that have been putting in that good work. Very aggressive push in now. Ruffleco, though, he gets taken down. Tensai good for the trade, but I can't help but feel like Herbs actually got away on top just there. He obviously managed to take Tensai down very, very low as well, and now he's actually opted for the P250 as opposed to the M4, sending that one back over to Brace. And 4 members now, pretty healthy, head over their way towards this A site. There is 2 members boosted up towards Long, or just at least locking it down. Peasy. What's the timing here? What's happened?
Brace was boosted up and Zilla opened the door just as he fell down.
Oh, I didn't even notice. BL.
It's a boost on top of the box in the middle of sight. I usually like to bring out that one in my mediocre gameplays because a lot of people don't expect that when you open Squeaky Door, they don't look over to the site. They usually try to clear out, all of short water. So it's a bit of a sneaky one.
Good pick back from PZ. Will be taken down, though, by Badonka. Now an opportunity for Paradox to continue on. And there it is. Zilla's taken down Brace as well. Unfortunately for Tensai, he doesn't really have a whole lot to work with. Nothing really to save either. And Ekal likely going to press the matter in just a second, about to swing on through. It looks like Tensai's gone into bank. And he's actually picked up the AWP off the back of that, too. The rest of the members, they're not quite hunting. They've gone off, at least for a little bit of a journey. Flash on in, Ekal not wanting to overextend. Tensai might be able to save this AWP if he plays his cards right. Ekal has to get away too, so Tensai has to make sure he plays the distance to a degree if he can get away from it here, as I don't think Ekal's going to extend any further. You do actually live on if the bomb detonates if you are in this position. So Ekal happy to continue to run on, and Tensai does save the AWP, so it's not going to be all over. Tensai's going to be able to send the AWP over to Peasy likely, or maybe, no, maybe he holds onto it. He's got the Kevlar, so unless you want to send it to, because he's got the P250. I don't know. It's a hard decision, but regardless, Vertex, at least they save the AWP into the next round. Hopefully they're going to be able to do some damage, but there will be another pause coming through. I do believe this time it's a headset issue. That's okay. It happens.
Kind of always confuses me though how people have headset issues during the game and stuff. It's like, what did you do? Smack your table too hard that it put the cable out of your PC? But anyways, technology, it can be a fickle thing. We do have a technical pause coming on through, and I guess for VERTEX, they could use this time to try to navigate what they're going to do in the remainder of this half. You know, they don't have the money right now. It's going to be an eco on the back of that salvaged AWP, and it's kind of been like Paradox have now found their mojo.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, Paradox has certainly started to move on back, and they feel very, very comfortable now moving into this map of Overpass. And that's what the entirety of this series I thought was going to be, though, right? You know, again, at the end of the day, I think if VERTEX go out of this matchup, they're going to be probably feeling it a lot less than if Paradox was. You know, Paradox have been in this position for quite some time. They're much more well vested, and of course, there's always going to be that new talent that comes in and like upsets the apple cart. We've been seeing it for a very, very long time, unless you're Renegades, because apparently no one can upset them. But yeah, aside from the rest of it, you know, we see Order having some struggle times. Avant, yeah, Trucker's good. Oh, you bring back Truckers, dude. But yeah,
well, it does
crazy
seem,
time.
It does seem like Paradox have, you know, done the right thing and the gentlemanly thing and abiding the rules, so that they have muted all their microphones during the technical pause, so they don't gain anything from it. Of course, Danger will be fixing out all of those technical issues that he had with his headset there. So hopefully Paradox are ripe and ready to start kicking them back into this one. It's just going to be, as we mentioned earlier, an AWP that Tensai has been able to take over to this new round. And I'm liking this pistol push in, but they did it in the last one. You know, Rufflego lost his life first, and Herbs is down 2 now. 3 with Rufflego falling. Addict push on, and we'll get him in the end.
No bullets. Rough.
Yeah, pistol can't shoot through the metal cages just there. Zilla will find the head of Tensai. That's the AWP, and Annex to back it up as well. Free gimme.
Zilla has
Paradox.
25 kills, dude.
Yeah, it's a...
That's pretty
it's a good
wild.
thing. It's a really good thing coming into LPL in elimination match. Your first LPL match under Paradox, of course, Mako earlier, but yeah, to be able to fit into this roster and go get kills like this, that's what you want for a debut, right?
Absolutely. Got to be happy with that one. Any sort of time to shine, you know, showing that the investment into picking up a player like this always is good and important. But yeah, look, you know, he certainly, I suppose, had an upgrade, if you want to put it that way. You know, Mako at one point were having a pretty solid run, but at the end of the day, Paradox certainly the more experienced roster, of course. Herb's now moving over, so Ekal can jump onto this boost. I do like how much this game has been toyed with, you know, to the point where you can watch all these lines that do occasionally catch members off guard. Smoke grenade goes down, does afford a little bit of extra space for Tensai, who's sitting at the barrels. Rufflego a couple of warning shots, but speaking of warning shot, Ekal gives one straight back to Tensai. And now Ekal moving back to join the rest of his team as they march towards Monster. Speaking of Halloween, now they do head out onto this site. Smoke grenade can go down to afford themselves a spot to plant. Danger's going to be able to find Brace. But Tensai, Rufflego now still alive. And Rufflego, he's found 2. Looking to even potentially pick up some more. A good flash around. Going to be tapping away. There's 3. Excellent hold right now for Rufflego. Pops over the weapon. And does he get 4? No, not quite. Badonka's going to be able to strike. But Addict, good for the trade. And VERTEX, they're back within kissing distance. Only 1 round away.
No kisses for the homies in Melbourne still, unfortunately, right now. Conky have to wait a little bit longer for that. January, February, confusing mishmash, and now we're nearly at Halloween. It's kind of sad, but hey, we got Counter-Strike here, and that makes me happy. It's another rifle round to come back for VERTEX, though. PZ without an AWP or utility. They are just going to have to hold true in their form that they've been able to flourish on the beginning stages of this CT side, because it feels like Paradox have sharpened up and they've wizened up. They've started to bring it into that overtime prospect where these guys did, you know, play overtime last time. So I was kind of predicting that this would definitely be a close one, even before realizing that they played each other before. I thought it would go all 3 maps, so we're waiting for that, of course. But for right now, it's all down to, you know, Badonka Brace. How do they maneuver their teams? How much free reign do they give them, or do they really reel them in?
The quiet chirp of the bird sitting out towards long. Not really a whole lot has happened except the ground made up towards this A site. Of course, it is just the one member of Herbs lurking towards the long position. seeing what he's going to be able to find, maybe selling a little bit of a fake. It hasn't really worked too much, though, for the Vertex side. We do have Addict up nice and close to the wall. A big flash about to come through. But the main thing is, Badonka, oh, he's ready for it, but so is Peasy, apparently. Going to be able to find one back. Very, very nicely done there, but he does go down in the fire as well, so well traded out by Ekal there. Now, cheeky little Brace is stuck inside the bank corner. Zilla's trapped him in there, but now they do try to march up onto the other side of Jump Up. Zilla, great shot there onto Brace, being able to find that one member. Herbs has picked up another, and go. There you go. As quickly as the round started, it was over all of a sudden as the march does head towards A. 27 frags found for Zilla. He is having a stellar game, and every other player has picked up where they need as well. Badonka was having a quiet one, but he's still started to bring his way back up, and Herbs on the T side has been looking good as well.
What do you do, though? Now, if you're Vertex, you're forced into this round. If you lose this, you've got a worse buy than you have right now into the last one, and you might have to kiss your chances at overpass goodbye in towards Mirage, which is Paradox's map pick. I do like that the Alligator has been brought out by Pineapple Zip, but you know, there's only an MP9 to back it up and a helpful handing of these Deagles. So PZ, the opportune moment is now. Pick up an upgrade onto that AK-47. Also take down Zilla, who's been an instrumental part of Paradox. And there you go. He will find both of them. Tensai with the pre-fire onto Ekal as well. And this is spelling disaster for Paradox. On paper, a round that you would think that they would win. But all it takes, you know, is a little bit of a change of pace, a little bit of a change up of strategies from the CTs. And they could look to win out this round. I'm not going to say it's done and dusted because we have seen 2 versus 5s.
Especially the time where Vertex really need to work for it too, of course. You know, they're in a position where if they lost up that round, they'd be looking down the barrel of an overtime, which is certainly not something they'd want to find because the, you know, they've had to deal with the overtime of Kent's Paradox on this very map recently, where they did lose it out 16-19. So doing some damage. Herbs up close and personal. This is what you talk about though, right? That 2 versus 5 already found some control up nice and close. Now the flashbang towards Monster, marching on around. They are doubled up here, but it is going to be a little bit awkward. Already members coming up Monster. There's Peasy from Heaven. Rufflecoat for one more. And there we go. Vertex, they are not done just yet. Everyone's going to recover an AK. You get an AK. You get an AK. Vertex win the round, and it's 13-14. Was that a good Oprah impression?
Man, I don't know where you were going with that one. I didn't even know that that was... Did you say Oprah or opera? Both?
Oprah.
I'm confused right now. But anyways, I don't sing. Not even in the shower, unfortunately. I'm out of tune. Vertex, though, they ain't out of tune. They've got a very comfortable amount of utility behind these big weapons as well. And, well, Paradox, they're forced into it. Kind of similar to what Vertex had not too long ago. Only an AWP, an AK, another one for danger now. But Tech 9 and a Mac 10 as well. They're going to have to do something snazzy right now, as well as Addict has already pushed up in a fountain. There goes one of those AKs. Traded out nicely by Ekal. But it's not a kill that you want to concede. If you're Paradox, you know, you need everybody alive here because you don't want to go into a 14-14 tied scoreline with not really a buy.
Man, I swear to God, this just keeps flipping on its head so many times. Yeah. Rufflecoat Tensai left on their lonesome. And the awkward part here is potentially they might get split up, which certainly not something you want to be experiencing in a situation like this. And the main thing is Tensai is actually taking a lot of control, but no, gives it up now, and they can just start to march very, very quickly out. But look at Rufflecoat's position. He is here. Might be able to find something. There's one. Get some damage dealt, but now Ekal is there. Oh, tapping away. Zilla's so low. Ekal should be able to swing on here, but Rufflecoat's certainly pushing to see what he's going to be able to do. Barely any bullets left, and he's found another. Oh my God, Rufflecoat. This is such a Rufflecoat round, but no! Thought Zilla was going to be in Monster. Zilla capitalizes on his position.
Utility to 1v1.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, look.
So that's actually the only sentence I'm going to say. I'm not going to say, you know,
I getcha.
You shouldn't have done that. But the amount of, you know, things we've seen lost when you bring out a utility in a 1 versus 1, like what, it was Hazo versus Hoopst in our first best of 1, you know?
Yep, that's the one. Oh, Llamas.
There we go. There you go. Yeah, llamas. Here we go. It's 15 rounds on a Paradox. They have solidified overtime, and they're already looking to just march one by one in towards this speed side. Not really. It's just Herbs looking to push Yuso against Vertex and maybe draw a rotation around. We're seeing a little bit of a boost up on short with the AWP peeking over, I think, from Pineapple Zip right now. He's going to try and catch a little bit of a sliver, but he's going to have to fall back potentially if they get overwhelmed. The Mat 10 of Danger actually using a whole clip to just put through the smoke, which I believe will be the progression one up at top of Bathrooms. But Tensei's found Herbs down to 7 HP. Vertex have got a little bit of this information on how this round is starting to navigate or be navigated from Paradoxes, but Onka's also lost his life. And man, oh man, you talk about the overtime validity, and we could potentially go there. The only weapon Vertex loses is not bad. They can't be losing weapons.
I think we can go here. Last hurrah, Zilla.
Yeah.
He's been able to do more, and somehow Ika's actually found one in the process as well. Bomb will be planned, and Zilla's still two away from 30, and he might just be able to find it. It's all onto Brace. He has had a shocking game, to say the least, which is very, very much unlike him, but he has to try and find so much here. Will he deny the 30? He might very well be able to, but he's looking to spot out. No! Will he find it? No! Brace, no! He's over.
Was that 2v5?
He played the time, but hey, look, it happens. That's rough.
Was it 2v5 or a 3v5 there?
There was so many like back and forth rounds in that game. It was actually insane.
Yeah,
But very well done to Paradox for taking out the map of Overpass against Vertex. There's still potentially 2 more maps in the veto though. And what do you think about that, Ark?
I thought it was awesome, a game of high stakes, and to have Paradox come out and take Vertex's map, especially from being behind in the start, is going to be a huge confidence boost in a game that is turning out to all be about composure, but it is still very tight, and you know that these teams can swing either way, and so we will have to see how we go in Game 2 right after these messages, so stick around.
This is your old lock. Boring, old, dumb. Your kids are always losing their keys, and we sometimes have our hands full. This is Lockly, an award-winning smart lock packed with the latest features in convenience and security. It's simple to install and comes in different versions, whether it's a deadbolt or latch lock, and fits both right swing and left swing doors. When you close the door behind you, Lockly can be programmed to auto-lock itself. When you're out and about, simply send your cleaner a temporary e-key for access. It can be for a single access or access for an entire month. Push notifications tell you when your doors get opened and when they closed, so you know exactly when people come and go. Customize your dates and times, and send guests access codes to be used, even without them downloading an app. So like Shelby, your next-door neighbor can come borrow some milk. When uninvited strangers attempt to guess the code to your door, you're protected by Pin Genie, an advanced security software that shuffles the numbers displayed on the screen every time someone approaches the lock. While your access codes don't change, the location of the numbers do. And because there are 3 numbers in each button, it's nearly impossible to guess the correct code before the lock disables the screen due to incorrect guesses. When you have family or guests visiting, and there's no one home to let them in, simply unlock the door with our app from anywhere in the world. We're all about convenience, so we have an advanced fingerprint sensor that recognizes up to 99 fingerprints and grants access within seconds. From securing families, rentals, and businesses, Lockly comes in deadbolt, latch, and Mortice editions with various finishes. At Lockly, we're all about creating new memories so you can enjoy time with those that matter most. Hey Google, Lock my front door. Lockly. Security redefined.
Good evening, and ladies and gentlemen, CSGO fans, and welcome back to the LPL Pro CSGO, brought to you by Conquer. For those of you who are just joining us, we have just witnessed Game 1 of Paradox versus VERTEX, two very closely matched teams fighting for survival in the double elimination bracket, and Paradox have taken out the VERTEX's first game. Now, just before we put this down with Conky and Komodo, have you guys seen that lock ad that we just played?
Yeah.
I need to get this off my chest. The guy who's breaking into that house looks like the most likely person to break into your house, and they're like, upgrade your Wi-Fi. Like, he's just the most unlikely criminal that I've ever seen.
Can he? I'll let him. Everybody knows my shocking internet. I will gladly let him do that.
Exactly, dude.
Every single time I watch it, he's got the full button-up polo. I just had to get it off my chest. Anyway, back to the game. Talking about VERTEX versus Paradox, going into game 2 with this one. Now, that was an extremely close game. VERTEX coming off the top, playing it out strong, but Paradox pulling it back through. What are the takeaways from that first game, Komodo?
I think it's going to be for VERTEX not to let it slip now when it gets too close, because it's like at that game, you kind of feel like VERTEX, they had it in their rights to win it. They were just so stable on their side at the end there, their CT side, and then Paradox, it just kind of feels like they woke up. Like, it was just the back and forth nature and approach of that game, but there was just at the end there, VERTEX, they slipped ahead. They found what they needed, but Paradox like, nah, we'll do one better.
Fantastic, yeah, and it showed in the results, I guess, coming through that. Now, talking about the theme of this game, I guess, has been so far, or this matchup has been the composure, the ability to really commit, I guess, or pull out the plays in these high-pressure moments. Having that be VERTEX's map and having Paradox having pulled that out, what do you think that's going to do for the psyche on that Conky?
Yeah, look, I think definitely it's going to play into VERTEX a little bit more. But I guess, again, as I said, they're a kind of team that if they don't, they usually can look forward. You know, they can usually look past. They don't quite often get stuck in their mistakes and anything. I still remember when they got absolutely cleaned by Avant. The main thing that they took out of that was that was cool. We got to verse a really, really good team, and we learned from it. You know, we got punished and dominated, and yeah, they were happy to take the dub out of that one. So obviously, yeah, sure, they're going to be on the back foot going into this one, but it's Mirage. Anything can happen. Paradox are really good on Mirage, but I'm sure VERTEX are going to be ready for it.
Absolutely. It would be a fitting game indeed if VERTEX can take them to the third map through Mirage. And so we will see them take to the field right now as we head into game number 2, VERTEX versus Paradox in the LPL CSGO on Mirage. Take it away, boys.
We're back. MCG once again, except for Melbourne footy fans, because my dad and my brother, they love AFL, and they can't go watch it or whatever.
Here's me sitting there going, I kind of can't be bothered going to watch the grand final on Saturday, but it's okay. Nah, dude, Esports, the only sport for me. Very good.
Here we go, though. This is the map pick of Paradox after narrowly defeating VERTEX on their own map pick of Overpass. And, this is where we really read into it. It's crucial stakes. Do we see all of the anti-strats be played on through? Do VERTEX have that info of what Paradox want to do? And they're already shaping up for this anti-pistol aggression play that VERTEX were lining up for. 2 under Balk. They find 1 in the trades, but Paradox, they've found more. Danger to 2, Zilla to 1, and now they're going to look to get the plant down and even overwhelm Tensei in CT. He does not to fall on that, but Danger aware of it, getting the information, that's all he needs.
The old Classico strategy, though, right? Again, we see it, the old jungle stairs smoke, but Tensei, PZ, they've managed to at least rip apart some of this defense. Badonka sitting behind Triple, other member of ECOL, being inside the A ramp. They've got the information. PZ was ready, but Badonka, in the end, does find the shot, does find the round, and that's Paradox off to a stellar start here. 2 members living on, and obviously VERTEX not being able to find anything back of it. It does mean that they'll be looking to force into this one. Now, never going to count out a wild VERTEX into a force buy round. Of course, Paradox need to keep their composure here and maybe try and overwhelm them a little bit. They've got the Mac 10s, they've got the Galils, so they certainly can get the job done. And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to go for, something nice and early, head their way down towards A, because that's one thing that we usually do see, right? A lot of the time we do see a lot of the it's either one or two things. It's either the winning team of the round gives either too much respect to the force fight or not enough, and they overstep. You know, I still think it's got to be just play the round like you did on the pistol. You know, make your way out. But Ruffleco, hang on a second.
That's costly.
He's found two from the balcony. He's done a lot of damage onto Ecal. Exactly, more than costly at this point in time. At least Ecal's going to be able to find Tensai. That's one through the smoke. PZ sitting inside CT. I'm looking to spot him, but oh, that is rough. 4 HP. Only needed to blow a little bit of wind onto him and he would have died. But anyway, in the end, it's Paradox. 3 members living on, and it's a clean A-round take. It was just Ruffleco with that big damage from the Deagle. And again, he actually tagged Eagle down to 4, so a little bit unlucky, but still Gucci as we move on into what will be the 3rd round. And VERTEX, you know, they've got nothing to work with here. They're just going to be holding tight and waiting for the 4th.
Going for the 4th indeed with an ace stack right now. The Badonka can find 2 with a max 10 and escalate the money in his back pocket. Eclol can do likewise. Braces on the board and Danger says no. A quick round done and dusted for Paradox as they find 3 on their T side. But now we start to be dreaming, or rather be pulled out of dreamland on Vertex's side. CT side Mirage, where they want to try and gather as many rounds, and now they've got the weaponry to do so.
Time will tell. See if this stacked up one can get the job done, because still, of course, we don't have any AWP in the hand for Ecal as of yet. It's just going to be PZ in that position so far. Tensai jumping straight out towards mid. The flash will come over top mid, and they slowly start to make their way, actually, rather quickly towards B. But Tensai, he has gone quick as well. 1, surely a second as well. There it will be. But the rest of the members are already out onto the side here. Badonka finds 1, but up close and personal, PZ drops Danger on the other side. But Badonka now, this is where he can push in, where he can potentially try and strike. But Addict knows that Badonka loves a good push. And Herbs to go down to the hand of Ruffleco as well. Paradox, they let one slip, and it's a very convincing slip as it is, as a quick bit of play moving on forward from Tensai, getting underpass. And, you know, they weren't ready for that in any way, shape, or form. But I do like the fact that at least Paradox tried something quick. You know, it's first buy round. Let's catch him off guard. And if it wasn't for Tensai pushing unders, I think that round could have had a different result.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you on that one there. It's always, though, when the rounds happen, it can kind of just change up, spell disaster. And he plays in the what if, and this one, you know, what if Brace found 2 kills instead of 1? Would VERTEX be able to topple it over? Because now Paradox have the advantage, and I guess in a sense, in a nutshell, that's Counter-Strike for you, right? It's always the what if, but it's the what now. What now do we do?
That flower pot just scared the absolute crap out of me. My God, I was not ready for that in any way, shape, or form. I'm not the only one, right? I don't like having big round-shaped things thrown into my face at 7 o'clock at night, all right? God, it's early. It's 10 o'clock for you, hey?
Maybe. Yeah, it's even worse for the New Zealand people over there. They're at like, what?
Yeah, it's just hit midnight.
Is it midnight or is it further than that? Aren't they 4 hours?
No, 5 from me.
5 from you? Oh, no, it's a 4-hour flight from me. Yeah. That's
10 hours for me. Casual.
Dude, you can get through like so many videos on a plane.
Or you can get through me sitting there literally just sweating and in pain because I hate flying so much.
Are you someone that can sleep on planes?
Nah. Unless I'm full of stuff and beer. No.
True. But here we go. We're swinging out A site right now. Herbs is being a thorn in their side. If he wants to peek up through connector.
Hang on.
Taking his sweet time. There we go. It's just going to be down to PZ, who also shoots through the smoke and reveals himself. A little bit of KZ. Doesn't want to take damage, but he'll try to play with the sound cues of a Paradise. We know that Danger's been having problems in that vicinity tonight, but now ears are sharpened up. And Paradox, they will find the 4th round.
Great shot.
Little shot from Ecal as PZ's leg it out through the smoke. Definitely a rocking start that you want to see for a T-sided team on a Mirage, especially in your map pick of your own choice. But yeah, for VERTEX, a map down facing elimination, this is definitely not the start that they want.
Paradox are off to the races, apparently, it would seem, you know, straight out the gate, looking hot. Great odds on this fair mare on the way out. Tensai does have the Famous to play with. The rest of the members just opting for the Deagles. Addict only sitting back with the USP, unfortunately not able to get anything else. PZ does spot out a few of the members inside this connector position and does go for a rogue shot. Zilla on the rough spot, though. Roffelko's going to be able to find another, and now PZ will continue to put a little bit of pressure on, but Herbs is going to be able to spot him, but Tensai arrives at the right time. The party animal is here. And now Brace taking one inside connector as well. So just as quickly as the round comes for Paradox, could very well be going unless Zilla's able to find something. Does spot out one, but now surely Attic should be able to strike out of the Palace position. Has to wait for it, but Brace swings over stairs, getting the shot onto Zilla, and that is a great second round for Vertex. Have actually managed to reset the Paradox economy in that process. So now, I mean, look, we always knew this was going to be a good series, right? And it's certainly living up to expectation right now.
Yeah, I just want to come out and pull a little word of a E-code, because that eco round that Vertex come through with, it actually does, you know, back up all their economy. Look at it right now. It's kind of into a fair region that if they were to lose to another eco here from Paradox, or rather their first eco, or if they lose the subsequent rounds, they've got money in the coffer to put back forward. So they don't even lose a rifle in this whole round at all. That's actually really good for them to get into this game and start to align themselves for a lot of rounds on the CT side.
What do they do? Paradox looking to try and force them out. Of course, you know, they've managed to only sort of come in with some AKs, Glils, a MAC-10. Of course, the AWP for PZ. Now looking to get off that position. Does get the smoke grenade down. Bedonka does get one on the opening. Addict's going to be able to pick up one underpass, though. Again, we've already seen plenty of that, but there's Bedonka with another ecal inside the apartments. He's able to pick up one more and a second on the Roffelko. It's all in a PZ, and he just wants to sort of moonwalk his way out of there slowly. Bedonka tries to push it, but doesn't get the frag, and ultimately he will fall away. Herbs ready for it, though. He's going to be hearing PZ run up very, very soon. And he should know. He well and truly should know. He's going to swing around, go to the other angle. He's just sort of toying with him right now, but ultimately, oh no! Oh, he does. Does get it. Does connect in the end. It was certainly a big effort, but there it goes. It happens, and it's Dunsky.
If he got away with that, he probably even would have survived. He could have just kept running in T-spawn or even into Palace, and that would have been an AWP salvaged into the new round. I mean, all things considered, he still gets another one into the round with a copious amount of utility behind it, so it's all good on the Vertex's side. But that would have just been a little bit of a fun play to have a laugh at in the end, a little bit of a clippable highlight, just like my smoke kill that came through. We finally saw. I'm so happy that we got a smoke kill, man. Like actually, but anyways, back towards the game in hand. It's a buy to come through for Paradox. Herbs with the Galil, and he found a kill within the last round still. And Paradox, they've picked interest in through towards mid. Not seen too much retaliation from Vertex, but on the top of the connector smoke, Roffelko will find Bedonka, and Danger saw the traces. He will find the trade.
How do they come back from this Vertex? Already having Roffelko and PZ, who've had very good games so far, taken down. Bedonka, the only man to leave the server so far. Bomb still in the happy hand of Zilla, looking to make the way around. It's 4 versus 3. Addict. Gonna find that shot. Danger. Good to be taken down, so at least it's back into this 3-on-3. Still plenty of work to do, though, as Addict does get caught off guard. Already marching up, though, was Herb. Surely they've heard the footsteps of Tensai in this process as well. Moving up connector, great flash in, but they don't push for it. Second flash, but Herbs maybe a little bit over-aggressive there. Didn't probably need to go for it. Luckily, though, Tensai's not going to be able to find much back into it. And I mean, Brace is up close and personal. Ecal already ready to rip off the head. Very well done. Paradox now lead out to 6. Another reset for Vertex, and this is where it starts to get scary. You know, we know if you win out the T half on Mirage and you're able to even say potentially take like 8, 9, 10, it should very well be a shoe-in. But then it's going to be on to Paradox, of course, to lock it down on that CT side. But for now, Vertex, they go just onto the pistols and see how it goes.
Yeah, and on those pistols, we've already seen them cop around behind themselves. Are they going to be able to do it again? Ecol's peeking out the whole A site by himself, but Addict's Eagle, sharp poised, locked and loaded at the red. He does get ripped out of his hands, unfortunately, and Ecol, he needs to no longer tempt fate. He will find info on a Roffelko, but you know, might want to see him withdraw. Won't look to do so as Tensei finds Danger. First kill afforded to Vertex. PZ, though. Shots onto Zilla, who, you know, I gotta say, I'm very impressed with Zilla's performance coming into this Paradox roster for like the technical debut into the LPL season, our debut into seeing him with this roster. Like map number 1, amazing from him. And whilst this one, I mean, so far isn't got the numbers to contribute, that's pretty much only to like Eco and Badonka stealing all the kills.
Yeah. But how good of a series has Eco had so far, you know? Obviously Zilla was the star shining in the previous map, but still Eco wasn't too far behind him. I think he was still about like 23 or 24 kills by the end of it. I'll actually be able to confirm that in just a second as I do check up on the scoreboard. It was 26. So there you go. 26 kills found for Eco in the previous map. Now he's sitting up very, very healthily as well here. And with Eco, it's not out of character for him, really, is it?
29 for Zilla in the last one. There you go.
Yep,
just wondering if he got more or not. That's a sharp shot into. Oh, you cop a dink, but you get the trade on through, and Tensai's only going to be able to sloppy seconds your kill that you were trying to go for. Danger already peeked up in through the connector. We'll hear all of the footsteps and probably tell his teammates, hey boys, they're saving. We've won the round and we've won the half.
So just trying to clear out as much as possible here. Danger going to make the footsteps. Addict will hear him, but of course, Danger just trying to at least punish as much as possible because, you know, the money on the side of Vertex, the less weapons that they save on is going to make it very, very awkward into the next. Even so right now, you know, Ruffleco, Addict, $0. Same with Brace. No one very good at saving here. Danger does go down, so at least that is one more member that has been dealt with. Rush in through for Palace, nothing gets spotted though, but all these members are in ramp, but surely Eco should be able to find something, right? Maybe, no. In the end, it will not happen. Herbs does drop Ruffleco though, so that puts them into position now where, because look, previously they would have been able to buy over for the remaining 2 members, but now they've got to buy 3 rifles, and I'm sure they're going to force into this one. Ooh. No, they're not. Good. Very smart. Very smart.
Very smart indeed, but I'm really going to be interested to see what impact Attic and PZ are going to have in this round, and that will start things off. But Onka down, but he probably knows where he died from. Danger will get one in the trade to a different player, but again, they've lost Zilla now, and if this keeps computing for Vertex, they may be able to contribute another round of their counter, and I guess repeat the first map where they're chasing and trying to make it somewhat of a comparable half. So, or maybe it was the other way around. I'm actually forgetting with how close and back and forward the first map was. Anyway, the point being, Vertex are going to try and chase 7 here, and they're trying to change things up. A boost over towards this window to try and do just that.
So having a little bit of a spot over. This, of course, is still a winnable round here for Vertex, but they've got to make a bit of a move on if they want to go for it. It's either they do bark in now or they let the round slide. Of course, they do have the kit in the hand of Attic, but they do need to get moving, and they need to move quickly. Eco, great shot, holds the line again. Eco just lining them up time and time again. What an incredible shot.
Very nice.
This man is on fire, has certainly had his wheat bix and rated on WoW or something, because he's 18-4.
When we talk about the characteristics of Ecol, though, right? We've always got to do so. We know what he's capable of, but we know that when he's hot, and when he's cold. He kind of rarely comes out of it. So it's really good to see that in an elimination match, he is hot. He was hot on Overpass, and now he's just on fire as well on this one. So really good. He hears all the footsteps into... Wait, maybe he doesn't hear all the footsteps in towards mid. I'm actually confused now what's happened to Paradise. They've lost Herbs, they've lost Ecol, they've lost Badonka, they've lost Zilla. Now it's all Danger, who does manage to bring one back in the piece, but he needs a stellar ace, and I don't think Vertex are going to give it to him. Only the one found. Good round for Vertex to bounce back with, and I mean, maybe it's just Caster Curse again all night.
Oh, look, the main thing is that Paradox have won out 9. You know, they obviously can march on into the next half with a lot still going behind them. They still should have a bye into the next 2 rounds, which is, of course, the final 2 of the half. And if they take 11, that puts Vertex in a really, really uncomfortable situation. But look, you got to be proud of your Vertex, right? You know, you managed to take the last season runner-up. You're running it against some really, really solid teams. And, you know, you've been able to take down these members in a pretty good fashion. You know, 16-13. On Overpass is certainly not something to laugh at. And now Brace, he's going to get caught off by Danger, bringing it back to a 3 versus 3, but Roffelko still there, might be able to find Ekal, but he's got Danger instead. Ekal's still sticking the plan, it's not going to go down. It's all on Azilla, 1 versus 3. Will he even be able to make his way out of apartments? Roffelko will start to catch him off, just keeps him there, and will be able to find it. So there you go, Roffelko with a colossal 4K, the big fella himself, bringing it back to 5. So VERTEX, they're still in it to win it. And I mean, it's definitely a challenging prospect to look at, but that's what I mean. Like, you know, they're just going to look at each other and be like, guys, this game's not over. We still got this. We can win this. And that's where they are. You know, I feel like once they get to a point where they start to really do some damage against these top teams, they might actually start to do it, because in the famous words of Panic, and it's not often that Panic says anything correct, it's like all these teams are not in it to take down Renegades, right? Everyone is just scared, and everyone's like, no. And the first people that actually said we can beat Renegades was probably Truckers, and then they have, you know, Order when they're feeling it can beat them too. But VERTEX's mental game will just win. But apparently, PZ is up close ramp, quick scoping like he's just joined FaZe Clan.
I just wanted to say, that's the Flom play that I was speaking about. You got the ult posted really close to teammate, and then you got another rifler backing you up. That's the exact play that I said I don't see teams doing it in our region. VERTEX, thank you very much.
Well, there you go. There you go. Making it happen. Certainly Herbs, though, looking to make something happen in his own right. Of course, he's picked up 2. Ekal, though, tries to swing out to drop 1 onto the side, but Attic keeps his composure and finds the round. 6-9 is this scoreline. Ekal, again, topping the scoreboard, 18-7. But at least VERTEX, they've given themselves some room to move. They get to the 6 that they need, and now if they're able to pick up this pistol, maybe the round after, at least they start to make their way towards tying it up. There's still plenty of work to do. Paradox are still in the hard favorite position. They were, of course, the soft favorite going into this one. Like, there was no, you know, big difference between them, sure, but at least, you know, they are living up to what we've sort of expected so far. It's been a close game. It's been a hotly contested game, and I'm liking what I see so far.
Oh, big damage. Big damage on the Roffelko Attic, but Herbs can't back it up with the shots of the USP, and Danger's lost his life around the site as well. All of the manpower of Paradox is starting to fall down in what can only be called a massacre. Just down to Badonka without a single kill for Paradox, and there will be none, as VERTEX, everybody survives at the closure of the pistol round. A fast one, a round that you probably thought the Paradox had everything they needed. They had the util at the B site, the HE did its damage, just the shots didn't connect.
Shots did not connect, despite the initial damage dealt to try and force them at bay. But now, of course, it is the usual force back in. 4 Deagles, a CZ. Are they going to be able to sort of bring this one back, try and do some appropriate damage to at least, you know, defend against this VERTEX comeback? Badonka's held W straight into PZ's Mac 10, which is kind of ironic if you think about it. Doesn't catch off anyone, unfortunately. Now just sort of sits and lays wait inside mid. Still, 4 members live on for Paradox. There is enough time to work with. Zilla, he's actually had a very, very quiet game considering how massive he went on the previous map. Smokes now do start to come out onto A. And are Paradox going to be able to defend here? Because Ekal, he's in a good spot at the back of triple, but he's going to make it hard for VERTEX, but still going to be a tough round to win, and he's ripped open by PZ. Rough.
He's just run around to CT and he said, oh, hang on, I'm going to be behind this smoke. We didn't throw this one. And there's a lurker. There's a player trying to be sneaky beaky, and we've found him. Now it's just down to Zilla, who, I agree, is having a little bit of a cold one right now, but hopefully we'll see him warm up on the CT side. There's a little bit of banner going on in the chat, you would expect, but that's the second round for VERTEX and a shutdown of what Paradox have purchased into. They cop an eco here. They'll have guns in the next one, but the big question I'm thinking now is, are they going to be able to have a clean run on this CT side?
Alrighty, a couple of they're going to send those. We'll have to see in just a second. It looks like they are going to send them maybe towards A ramp, but nope, they're still holding on. Wonder where it will go. Just sort of waiting, paying it patiently. It looks like VERTEX have been pretty keen to sort of just work out something towards B. It looks like PZ's already marched on out there. So at least this is them closing that gap, right? You know, we speak about it, what it's like. They find the pistol round, they find the resulting because they didn't lose their composure, which has been the key word of the evening. Now Zilla is spotted out by PZ. He's going to try and find some more to go along with it. The nades go in, but unfortunately they don't do a whole lot to go with it. Whilst he is dinked up, he does at least find 2. Danger's at least able to find that one back, but not really taking a whole lot with him, of course. Rufflecoat does find that shot, very nicely done. And now in a 2 versus 4, Ecal, Herbs, can they find sort of anything? Herbs is all the way outside TV room. Bomb has been planted, and they are all sort of starting to hunt for it. Ecal not quite able to find Tensai. And Herbs just caught in the middle of nowhere. Top mid, does have the CZ, but look, it's going to be VERTEX finding 9, tying it up. We're not going to see... Oh, no, actually, we might see an ult for PZ if he wants to. He could toy with the idea.
I'm just thinking that there's, you know, the kits that glow red around on the map. I actually got caught off guard there because I forgot about that. I thought the bomb was actually at A for a second. I'm like, hold on, they're all around the side. They're going to die with the bomb. But no, it's the kit being highlighted for our X-ray. That's where I'm at tonight, but we're all tied up. We're 9-9 right now, and this is where things start to get a bit heated as well, because Paradox, they've got the purchase, they've got Ecal in the AWP, and he's got positioning over towards mid. But when does he choose to pull the trigger? Does he even want to reveal that the AWP is in existence right now? He will. He'll take the shot. There's Galils for VERTEX of 4, and PZ with an AK-47. So by all means, Paradox weaponry to take this round, but the utility is scarce in nature, so is the kits. They're absent completely. And Ecal might actually get his head ripped off by Brace if Zilla can't get a trade as well. Oh, this could not work out for them, but they've let Brace up, and they're aware of the fact that Addict finds Badonka to start things off.
Oh, Zilla! Oh, Zilla, hang on! Hang on just a second!
He's on for the ace, and PZ's nowhere to be seen. Now known, now heard in the server, but he needs to do something that we've just witnessed from Zilla. He's done it, though. He's bought it.
Hang on! No!
Tree for Zilla. The bomb is down, and PZ needs 4 as well. Who is going to win this one out?
Good smoke grenade down. At least it might be able to find him some extra time. Zilla's just tempting for it. It's like bloodlust trying to find this additional frag. And on the other side of the smoke, at least PZ should be able to pick this one up. Nothing creeping around though just yet. Zilla just waiting. Might actually play into the hand of PZ, who's done so magnificently here. But it will be Zilla to test his mettle once more. The big boy ace here on Mirage, the first of the evening, and it was a stellar one at that against a full buy, and that is pushing VERTEX back. PZ almost securing out the 1v4. The clutch minister of this competition certainly made it look close, but in the end, it was Zilla to bring himself up from 4 to 9 kills in one round.
Yeah, man, an ace like that will just really kick you into overdrive and instill some high fun in the game, because in the end, you know, Counter-Strike is all about fun. If you can feel the flow, you can really just take it through and look to just play out some nice, clean Counter-Strike, and Zilla is definitely going to be able to try and do that on the back of that glorious place. So I guess in the new round, yeah, the money is looking kind of shot for Paradox, even though they did win it. They got an MP9, a FAMAS, they've lost Ecal, there's big weapons on the side of VERTEX, so it's still going to be a little bit of a struggle, one for them, but they are the first team to find double digits, and they're going to just rest on their back on their rolls right now and just try to see, all right, where is VERTEX going to look to go? Are we going to play after plant? Are we going to you know, try and see something else? But Badonka, he's pushed A main, so they know it's B.
Yeah, so VERTEX certainly in a prime position to do something with it, but now Danger missing the shot as they do cross over, and that is every single member out. Roppelcoast found the first onto Zilla now, and a big round in the previous, but now he has gone down. Herbs looking to stop what he can. Badonka so far away as well. It should be on for the save, or maybe even at least just trying to find an exit frag here. It would be an incredible feat to be able to pull off this 1v4, but it is PZ holding down the back of Apps. Badonka's just going to lay in wait to see if anything does push through, but look, no, it's going to be another round. VERTEX tying it up, and do you know what happens with that money for Paradox? Is Gonski. There's nothing really else that can do with it, unfortunately. Badonka does manage to spot out Brace, finding at least one more kill, finding the AK as well to take on into the next round. But again, Paradox 10-10. Yeah, VERTEX. This is getting a little bit scary for Paradox now.
Scary indeed. They're going to have to cop a bit of a eco into this next round and really just rely on Badonka doing something with this AK-47, unless he wants to give it into somebody else's hands and see what they can work with it. It's definitely going to be a bit of murky waters coming into the next few rounds. You know, they want to try and get into the clear, and in this one at least, they're not going to be able to. You would expect a stack on the A site. PZ with a quick boost to see if he can spot anything out. He'll find Zilla, and that's the advantage that Vertex didn't necessarily need, but they will welcome with open arms.
Great shot back though. Badonka getting aggressive inside the ramp with this AK, obviously crucial to see what they can do with it. And that's actually Ekal finding the AK as well, but he does quickly get taken down. A good swing in from Badonka. PZ still holding that line, and Badonka might actually be able to find more as well, toying with the idea of this AK. But luckily, Roffelko is there to save his homie. It's all onto danger now. Getting the smoke grenade over. Will he be able to find anything? There's one spotted out, but I don't think he'll be able to do the damage. Roffelko with 3. Vertex take the lead back. Mirage is certainly firm in their hands right now. Had some damage dealt by the Paradox boys, but Ekal has that AWP back in hand and a few rifles to go along with it. Death territory now, basically. You know, obviously this is potentially where we could see the maps go to 3, which is what we expected though, right? We expected this map to go to a 3 mapper, so we'll have to see with how the rest of it pays out. But Vertex, they are not done yet. This is what we mean, right? They don't look down and be like, you know, we lost our map pick, we're out of the series. Nope, they're going to go in, and they're going to go in deep. Ekal, though, to find the opening pick on a brace.
Yeah, and with where Ekal found that from as well, the A side towards short, he could probably expect that it is going to be a B hit to come through, and Danger's just ripen at the ready. He's been plucked from his tree. He is everything you need, a juicy piece of fruit. And the fruit of his labor is 3K. Now it's just down to PZ, whose gun barrel might have just actually peeked out through the back of the wall. He's definitely revealed himself with that shot coming on through. Danger cops a reload, and will just try to take everything by himself. But Herb says, no, I'll peek it through the smoke. 5 alive for Paradox to equalize, and it's definitely what you do want, because they didn't have the money to reinvest. Somebody would have had to drop something.
Reinvesting, getting the job done. It's Paradox with plenty of money to work with now. After tying up that scoreline, Vertex obviously pushed to the edge of it. A reset possibility here. And that's been pretty much the name of the game though, right? During the course of this series, when Paradox and Vertex have really been pushing each other to their limits. Danger, not going to be scared away by Brace at all. I mean, you look at that picture and you don't exactly think spooky. Love him though. Great guy. Good smile. Big brain. Love the boys at Vertex and Paradox. You know, they've been doing the exact same thing. It's been very, very good to get those insights from Badonka during the course of the series. And I think we actually do have a not Badonka that is going to be interviewing if that is the case. Lots of questions for that man when he does come in, if that's the possibility. But still, we've got to deal with the rest of it so far, Vertex. Let's see if they can win this out and knock Paradox out of contention. Or will they be able to... or will they be going home? PZ gets the good trade onto Ekal. And now, 4v4.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, if we know Badonka's the man that can levitate, what can the rest of the squad do? What is their little superpower? Well, he wish he could levitate in the game to jump over the bullet that he just did cop to the face. Zilla, though, no trade available. Should have the information, and the guys say, go back to B. Hold the fort right now. Danger, you've got a Stampede approaching, and he will definitely hear it right now. But how many is he going to be good for? The rest of his team needs to run over and try to help out, but he'll have his head ripped off. PZ to find Herbs, and Vertex will once again take the lead in this second map of this best of 3 elimination. For those that have just joined us, well, they didn't catch it in the beginning. It's just going to be down to Zilla to take this AK into the next round, and you can already see Brace is hunting through Connector.
So Zilla here, just trying to save on that AWP. Another well-found round for Vertex, and one that they pretty much needed though, right? You know, they have to hold on and see what they can do. It wasn't reset territory for them, which definitely makes a bit of an awkward thing to face down, whereas now Paradox obviously holding on to that AWP, goes straight into the hands of Ekal. He'll be able to drop over for Badonka. Badonka obviously not with a whole lot of money to work with, and a pretty decent result in the end because, you know, Paradox went out this round. They're in a position where they can at least make Vertex feel uncomfortable with the money again. So it's just this constant sort of game right now of tug of war, cat and mouse, whatever you want to call it. But both these teams are doing really, really well. They're making each other question their own strategy and structure, and I'm just sort of proud to be watching a game of this caliber go on right now. You know, these teams very, very well met. They've all been practicing hard, and it's been paying off. And there is a quick scope from Ekal, a nice swing up deep short from Herbs, and early 3-on-2, because I think Peasy actually got legged up in the process as well in the collateral.
Yeah, well, Brace has been able to swindle his way down under balcony, and he will find Zilla as well with some extra information over towards CT to back it up, though it would be a bit unfortunate if he was to peek over the angle with the AWP of Ekal locked and loaded as well. But Onka, therefore, a wide swing trade if necessary. But Vertex are going to be shaping up for this A site. You can see that Herbs hasn't pushed up through short, try to get that information up through connector, which you would bet PZ would be looking at being the player at the back of that position, but they are just being careful. Okay, so Herbs is going to be smoked out. That's why they're not needing to look over to that position. Everything can be focused onto this A site where Badonka will find the crossfire in Addict. Info that Brace is still over towards that Tetris balcony area, and now Brace, is going to be the last one alive in a 1 versus 4. Takes Ekal down to 1 HP, but Ekal will say, through wall, you will die.
And Ekal has now lined himself up for just under, 50 kills for this series so far. And we're not even finished map number 2 right now. Guy's been having an absolutely stellar performance as it stands. Of course, it is now a 12-12 tie. Looks like that will be a cheeky little pause coming through from Vertex, I am sure. Having a bit of a discussion of what the go is. Yes, it is a cheeky little tack. Getting the job done. So now having a little bit of a chat. What do they want to do? Do they want to force in around PZ and Tensai, or do they want to save up? Because Ruffleco doesn't really have a whole lot of money to work with. And yeah, look, pretty rough.
Yeah, pretty rough indeed. It's, you know, you don't want to be without dollarage going into a round such as this, because 12-12, this is the turning point where Paradox could potentially run away with it if they can cop this 13th one relatively scot-free. You know, it kind of could be difficult, especially if Vertex do drop another round. It's definitely a scenario where one of these teams can run away. So we wait and see. There's a purchase to come through for Vertex. They've said, all right, we've done the math. This is what we're going to go forward through. This is our answer. It's not multiple choice. It's a short answer. But is it going to pay off? Is it going to give them full marks?
So they've gone for that force in, of course, as you mentioned, trying to work it through. Pressure was on, because now if they are unsuccessful in this round, it puts them in a really awkward situation. And Badonka, he picks up 3 defending from this A ramp. Now Ruffleco, see if he can pick up anything here. Ekal does pick up 1, but now Ruffleco with the AWP in hand. 1 versus 3, has to recollect the bomb though. Molotov to go down. Herbs is likely going to push on up. He's definitely feeling like he's got the timing, but Ruffleco is going to hightail it out of there. They do get the information. Where does he go? Does he re-trap into Palace here, or does he continue to head over towards that B site? Let us see.
Big thing is as well, what do Paradox want to do? Do they want to stay together and justify a 2 versus 1, or split up and give the 1 versus 1s? You know how sharp and capable Ruffleco is, so it's going to have to be the beginning part of that statement, and they are over at A with this bomb to go down. It'll waste, you know, a bit of seconds off that retake timer. They've only got 35 to go in to try to defuse this bomb, which Ruffleco has tried to fake out. Now we'll plant, and it's going to be on to the retake, but this is definitely where Ruffleco can shine, man. You know, they're forced into it. Danger misses a shot with an AWP. It's not a weapon that you would usually see in his hands, but information's information. They're going to go together. They're going to go for the swing. You'd probably say don't use too much utility, because AU nades, they happen, and flames reveal. Ruffleco reveals himself over at the bench position, and now they're going to try and get into him. He's blind, getting peppered down, and they will finish him off. So a round that Vertex force into doesn't work out into their favor. Does a bit of damage onto the impact, but not enough that, you know, Paradox won't be able to have full weaponry across the board here. Zilla will get a weapon dropped over, the AWP in Ekal's hands, and the you know, the payout for Vertex, it wasn't that large.
That's the risk you take, right? You know, and it's a scary one, especially so close to the end of it. And look, at the end of the day, Paradox still don't really have a whole lot of money to be working with either if they lose the next round. But the main thing is here, Vertex, they've completely, lost out on what they need. They've got only the pistols to work with. One set of Kevlar, well, actually two. One with Roffelco, one with Tensite. 3 Deagles. Is it enough? I don't think it will be. Hopefully there's a leg shot from Ekal onto Attic, but oh, that's a little bit dangerous. But in the end, it will be Herbs to at least avenge Ekal's death. Flying the frags back, the flashbang to head out. Looking to jump out onto the site here as well. That's going to be the bomb. Peasy at least fakes for it, and Herbs able to keep his composure there to get the shots down. Zilla takes down Brace, and now it's Roffelco in a 1 versus 4.
Roffelco is going to be taken down at 24. Certainly does give him a bit of a sliver to win this round right now. Has to piece together a couple of crucial angles. Granted, Herbs is the closest one with the lowest HP, but the angle works out for Herbs. So that's 14 for Paradox. Finally going to see another purchase come through for Vertex, Mitch, but this is going to be the most crucial round in the game. They got to win this one, because if they don't, it's 15 for Paradox, and they will have a lesser buy than they have right now into that next round. So unless they come out with a little bit of a surprising eco in that next one, rather a pistol, force-up rush kind of endeavor, it would be elimination. So now they have to, exercise their biggest brain power yet.
Five AKs. Is it enough? Danger says no. We'll be able to drop Roffelco here. A smoke grenade to give him some extra time. And there's Danger to drop Brace as well. Badonka. Let's find Attic, the kill back. Peasy up top mid. Tensai not too far behind either. But this is slowly but surely looking like it very well might be a 2-0 victory. The way of Paradox looking like it could be a very similar sort of scoreline as well. Easy to get that smoke grenade down to at least dissipate the Molotov, but he's taken down so low. Danger surely knows where he is. Here's the tags inside the smoke. There it is. Danger's been tagged up, but Herbs will find the final member. A clean round for Paradox. There we go.
Once again, production gracing our ears with the glorious tunes that I cannot return back with because I am tone deaf as well as going grey, but that's another story right now. It's a bit of a force up for Vertex with these pistols. A Mat 10, a Galil for Tensai, but they need openers. They need opportunities to be gifted to them from Paradox. It almost feels right now, and that could be one. Roffelco finds Herbs, drops a weapon. Zilla, though, to clean it up. He'll get the trade and want to fall back as well. Brace doesn't want to be too presumptuous to just waltz through that smoke and potentially give Paradox an easy clean up for the rest of the round as well. So from out here now, how do you get back into it if you're Vertex? There's a boost that's going to come up straight into Zilla's crosshairs. He's probably going to be ready for it as well, but he reloads. That's Brace's time to peek him through as well, but he misses the right timing. He needed the kill there.
Addicts. This is a couple of shots there. This is their last opportunity, of course, Vertex. Not really much to work with outside of these pistols. Obviously, just that one Galil for Tensai. Can they get anything done with it? Plan to start to go down, of course. They have to look at overtime if they even do bring this one back. And the way that they are bringing the round back around, of course, we've got Zilla and Badonka moving in CT. Ekal aware of the possible prospect of old mate Brace as well. How are going to look to boost up into CT potentially. The Brace, has he found the right amount of timing? Tapping away with that Mac 10. That's going to be Ekal drop now, and that's back to a 4-on-3. Attic to at least try find a shot, but Badonka's going to stop him. Brace, he's been the impact, the X factor here. He do some additional damage onto this member, which allows Danger to go down. Now they're inside the smoke, trying to hold onto the defuse, running on in with the knife, but they haven't. Badonka, the full-on stick of the defuse, and Badonka will get it done. 16-12 is your scoreline, and unfortunately, after such an awesome journey, we do see Vertex going home and leaving the server for the final time this season and for the rest of the year. But man, well done to Paradox. The runners-up from last season continue on, and they'll be facing off against, obviously, Avant tomorrow. So Smite, what do you reckon, buddy?
Man, look, I was really looking for the knife kill in that smoke, but I guess it's just not to be because Paradox came out too strong indeed. The 2-0, they put VERTEX right up against the wall and they get it done. Eliminate them, send them home. No more losers bracket to go to. What a good way to pick that one up. But guys, we're going to be returning after the break, and when we do, we're going to be interviewing a member of the winning team and also taking a look at the bracket.
This is your old lock. Boring, old, dumb. Your kids are always losing their keys, and we sometimes have our hands full. This is Lockly, an award-winning smart lock packed with the latest features in convenience and security. It's simple to install and comes in different versions, whether it's a deadbolt or latch lock, and fits both right swing and left swing doors. When you close the door behind you, Lockly can be programmed to auto-lock itself. When you're out and about, simply send your cleaner a temporary e-key for access. It can be for a single access or access for an entire month. Push notifications tell you when your doors get opened and when they closed, so you know exactly when people come and go. Customize your dates and times, and send guests access codes to be used, even without them downloading an app. So like Shelby, your next-door neighbor can come borrow some milk. When uninvited strangers attempt to guess the code to your door, you're protected by Pin Genie, an advanced security software that shuffles the numbers displayed on the screen every time someone approaches the lock. While your access codes don't change, the location of the numbers do. And because there are 3 numbers in each button, it's nearly impossible to guess the correct code before the lock disables the screen due to incorrect guesses. When you have family or guests visiting, and there's no one home to let them in, simply unlock the door with our app from anywhere in the world. We're all about convenience, so we have an advanced fingerprint sensor that recognizes up to 99 fingerprints and grants access within seconds. From securing families, rentals, and businesses, Lockly comes in deadbolt, latch, and Mortise editions with various finishes. At Lockly, we're all about creating new memories so you can enjoy time with those that matter most. Hey Google, lock my front door. Lockly, security redefined.
Want a $300 broadband credit on the house? Switch to an eligible Vodafone home broadband plan before 27 October and you'll get a massive $300 broadband credit to get you started. Join now by calling 0800 533 020. Exit fees and terms apply.
Welcome back, everyone. We're back at the tail end of the day here for LPL Pro Season 3 CSGO, and we've got one of the winning members from Paradox on the line. Ekal, mate, you've got the 2-0. Congratulations and welcome to the show.
Yo.
All right, awesome to have you here, mate. So I'll give you a simple question. 2-0, did you think it was going to be a 2-0 tonight?
I think we went into the game and we were like kind of not that confident on Overpass because we had lost last night to like Mako without the IGL. So we weren't that confident on Overpass, but once we went Overpass, I was pretty confident we would 2-0 them.
Cool, and then you got to Mirage, sorry, Conky, just shh for a second.
You go.
Yeah, you got to Mirage, Ekal, and then things started to look like VERTEX might start swinging back. Did you get worried at all?
Not really. I feel like a lot of the rounds we lost were like on us. They played pretty well towards the later half of that. I think we just had a lot of momentum going in from winning Overpass, and we started really strong, and it like kind of carried us over.
Okay, now you go.
Well, look, I was going to bring in my question sort of about how, Luke, we've spoken a little bit about team longevity and stuff like that. With obviously Zilla coming into the fold, what's he sort of slotting into in regards to like the roster swap? And also, how have you guys been working as a team to just sort of develop over time? Because, you guys have been showing some really good things lately.
Well, Zilla's pretty much just slotted into versus roles, more or less. We asked him where he wanted to play, and like he shared, because he was IGLing in Mako, but he's not IGLing our team. Like there's like a little bit of an overlap with him and Donk, but he's fitting in really well. We haven't had much practice because we've had comp games every single night so far. Like we've only scrimmed like twice. But he's like a really good fit for the team, I feel.
That's good to hear there, Luke. I've got two questions, and they're kind of quick and simple ones. Number one, how do you feel like you're going to go up against Avant tomorrow? And number two, how much free reign did Donk give you in Zilla tonight?
I mean, I don't know. Like the way that our team is kind of thing, if you've got an idea, you just do it, Like, if you are confident in something, like, anyone can make a play. Like, it's not only me. Donk gives me a lot of freedom, as in, like, if I want to do something, if I say something, he'll, like, let me do it or call around it. It's fine. Like, he won't ever, like, shut me down, really. And I don't think anyone really shuts anyone down in this team.
All right, well, first up, congratulations again on your win. But, Ekal, before we let you go, we give everyone a shot at this. Why should the viewers vote for you as the Red Bull fan vote?
Well, I think they should vote for Danger because, he's a big eco-fragger and he needs all the support he can get, so yeah.
All right, there you go, guys. Apparently his teammate needs some friends, so make sure you send in those votes. And thank you again, Ekal, for joining the show, and congratulations on the win.
Cheers, Luke.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we just finished yet another day, and man, we are really at the tail end, guys. So let's take a look at how the bracket is shaping up, because we've only got 4 teams left. So let's take a look at where they're standing. Of course, we've got Chiefs and Rooster right there at the top in the winners bracket final. And then Paradox and Avant, obviously, after just moving on tonight, will be facing off tomorrow as well. So, boys, let's start on the winners bracket here. Dion, I'll give you this one. So Chiefs versus Rooster. How does this match play out?
I am going to be really interested to see this one. Of course, Chiefs, change up in the roster is now, known and announced and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. Of course, guaranteed into grand final for the winner there, the losers final, and a shot at redemption with that lower bracket run, but a map advantage for grand final BO5. I think that it's going to be a tight, all things considered. And I know we say tight matches time and time again, but the form that these two teams are coming with lately, this could definitely be like 3 maps, extremely close, all of them.
And Conky, we've seen both of these teams tonight, so Paradox and Avant, if they match, how do they go?
Look, I think Paradox have got the opportunity. You know, it's a team like this that they've always sort of struggled against to really, really strike and show their worth, I guess. And I think with Zilla coming into the fold, you know, sort of picking up that secondary IGL, which is what Luke mentioned, obviously, about the overlap, I think it's a good opportunity for them to do so, but they need to be firing on all cylinders. Of course, every single member needs to be playing really, really well. But look, I think whilst at least Avant are still working into their new roster. But the thing is, you know, it's sort of almost going to be like revenge, right? You know, Versus obviously been taken by Avant. So, you know, just like we saw tonight in a similar sort of thing, I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they match up. But yeah, again, Paradox, they keep trying to like break in, and they've been in that top 8 for a long, long time, playing in all these top 8 competitions. So I think it's another good opportunity for them to really show what they can do.
Man, it's really shaping up to be a great final at the end of all things considered. So, guys, look, you've yelled your little hearts out tonight, so you've got some really big matches tomorrow. I'll let you rest up because we're going to need you guys at full power for tomorrow night, because we're going to wrap things up here for the show tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining us all here at LPL Pro CSGO. It's been a blast tonight. Got to shout out the sponsors, of course, Vodafone, Sky City, Conquer, WD Black, Red Bull, and a big shout out to Extrafy, who've got some sweet gaming mice and keyboards at all good PC gaming stores, so check them out. But we'll be back tomorrow night with 2 very, very important matches.
Now the defense onto this B bomb side. Bogeyman with 3-4 against a really good team as well. Look at that nade. Chris, they're just going to line up.
Making Skyfire really sort of sweat for it.
That's
Bit of a steamroll. As there we go. Oh, Medic is going to make so much cash this round. They have to go. They have to get out onto this A site now. BZ, great shot, holding it down. BZ. Just going for that aggressive play, and it pays off. This is, oh my word!